It's Thursday, November 20th. New this morning, Prime Minister Mark Carney has signed a new foreign investment agreement in Abu Dhabi.
Ryan Wedding is a modern-day iteration of Pablo Escobar.
The FBI and RCMP have arrested 10 suspects with alleged ties to a drug ring headed by a former Canadian Olympian.
It's blocked. Now Harris from behind the net. Tried to wrap it around. Out front comes to Burkhardt. Fires shot. He scores!
Regina Pats dropped the first game of their U.S. road trip. Highlights coming up. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning, Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. We hope your Thursday is off to a great start.
Is that snow sticking around up in North Battleford area?
Well, I mean, we're seeing lower temperatures for the next few days, so likely going to be sticking, but not seeing any more of it actually falling from the sky until the weekend.
Oh, it's decent enough. My kid's already asking about tobogganing, so we got to get to it eventually, right? Let's get to news. We'll get to weather forecast in just a minute. We begin with this. Prime Minister Mark Carney has signed a long-negotiated investment agreement in Abu Dhabi. It comes as Carney meets with top government and industry leaders. The agreement is called the Canada-UAE Foreign Investment Promotion and Protection Agreement. The deal is expected to support long-term partnerships between Canada and the UAE industries, as well as attract capital to nation-building projects. The two leaders also talked about a Canada-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement that would cut tariffs, remove trade barriers, and expand market access for Canadian exporters. The Prime Minister's office wouldn't confirm whether the conflict in Sudan was raised during the discussions, but a senior government source tells CTV News that it was something the Prime Minister was expected to address. A new trade agreement has been signed to break down trade barriers within Canada.
For businesses, it means they can sell across Canada, save time and costs, have a bigger reach, grow and create new jobs.
The deal was signed on by the provinces, territories, and the federal government. It works on the idea that if something is allowed to be sold in one province, it can be sold anywhere in the country without any extra red tape. The deal applies to thousands of products, excluding food, beverages, tobacco, plants, and animals, and it comes into effect next month. Premier Scott Moe is back from Washington, D.C., where he met with U.S. officials to talk tariffs, trade, and protecting Saskatchewan jobs. Moe says $40 billion in imports and exports across the border each and every year, mentioning how tariff-free trade is critical given the U.S. is their largest trading partner. He added Saskatchewan products like oil, potash, and canola help lower costs for Americans.
Specifically, grocery prices in the U.S. are increasing, and Saskatchewan has a role to play in that. And so I view it as a positive from our province's perspective, because it would lend credence to the reason to not put tariffs on some of the products that we're sending to the United States of America.
The Premier says it's important to keep trade channels open to protect jobs and support both economies. The provincial government is providing $1.1 million for warm-up centres in Regina this winter. That money will be allocated through the city organizations that serve the homeless. The centres will operate around the clock during the cold winter months. Last winter, Carmichael Outreach operated the largest warm-up centre in Regina, but the city does not know where the money will be spent this year.
Our government priority remains clear: supporting a strong province where Saskatchewan people are safe and secure. By investing in programs and partnering with communities, we are helping individuals find stability and independence.
The provincial government has also provided funding to expand Regina's permanent homeless shelter from 50 beds to 55. Fire investigators will work to determine the cause of an overnight house fire in Regina. Firefighters called to the 1000 block of Wascana Street just after 2 o'clock this morning. They arrived to heavy smokes and flames, as you see on your screen, from the upstairs windows. It was quickly brought under control. The lone occupant got out safely. No injuries were reported. The cause now under investigation. We should find out today if the man accused in the shooting death of a woman on a Weyburn highway will get bail. Details of the case remain under a publication ban until Chris Farlman's eventual trial. And on September 12th, Tanya Myers was in a moving vehicle outside of Weyburn when she was hit by a bullet. On November 1st, Farlman was charged with manslaughter in connection to the death. 2 weeks later, the manslaughter charge was upgraded to second-degree murder. Farlman's bail hearing will continue and conclude later today. A Saskatoon judge has ruled on a case we've been following for quite some time. Jeremy Dodge is all over this one. What happened in court yesterday?
Daryl, good morning. Well, a Saskatoon judge has ruled there are too many unanswered questions around the death of a Saskatoon man almost 3 years ago to convict 2 people of murder. It was August of 2022. James Swift and a woman found injured near Penner Road, just outside Saskatoon. Ashton Ritson and Colton Lischka were charged with second-degree murder in Swift's death and attempted murder in the stabbing of the woman. In a written decision released earlier this month, the judge said there were too many holes in the story because of alcohol and drugs, and it wasn't proven beyond a reasonable doubt who did the stabbing. The judge instead ruling the 2 were guilty of manslaughter in Swift's death and aggravated assault for the attack on the woman. A third man, Anthony Burley, pleaded guilty to being an accessory to manslaughter earlier this year and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. The fate of a massage therapist accused of sexual assault is now in the hands of a jury. 69-year-old Kenneth Braun facing 6 charges of sexual assault. Now, the evidence presented during his trial has been under a publication ban so as not to interfere with a future court date. A judge spent more than 3 hours yesterday giving careful instructions and considerations to the 12-person jury, and they are now deliberating. Daryl, some changes to health care could be coming to our Alberta neighbors.
Yeah, Danielle Smith, the premier there, revealing plans about a plan to let doctors choose to work in public and private healthcare systems at the same time.
Healthcare shouldn't be about blind and outdated ideologies or politics. It should be about providing all Albertans with access to the best healthcare possible when and where they need it.
Smith says it'll add flexibility and cut wait times for surgeries in the public system. The Canadian Medical Association is warning against such models, saying it leads to worse healthcare outcomes and care. The family of a New Brunswick senior says they're amazed he managed to save himself from a serious car collision.
He couldn't get the car doors or the windows open, so he had to climb in the back of the car, and with that he managed to bust the back window and escape.
86-year-old Gerard LeBlanc was driving north of Moncton on Sunday when he crashed his car into some water. His daughter says he smashed his way out using a wrench. He then managed to climb all the way out the back and get up to the road for help. LeBlanc did all of this with the broken bones in his neck and spine, if you can believe it. He's now in hospital with a long recovery ahead, but he said he's in good spirits. Incredible. Questions remain over whether or not we've seen Saskatchewan Roughriders quarterback Trevor Harris play his final game.
I love Trevor, man, and I've been very vocal about that, and I'm not going to start mincing my words now, but I love him enough to respect any time that he may need to make that decision for himself and his family. He has an amazing family, man, an amazing supporting cast at his house, and I know that you know what they feel is super important to Trevor, and it's super important to us. So, but if he says, "Hey, I want to play," well, you know, I'd like us to try to do everything to make sure it's in the green and white.
Trevor Harris is 39, just won the Grey Cup in a season where he passed for over 4,500 yards and 24 touchdowns. He's going to take some time before making a decision. Riders GM Jeremy O'Day is expected to speak with media next week. Let's turn our attention to the weather picture. We talked about snow and ice and bad roads yesterday. What are we talking about today?
Well, today things are clearing up. Our radar is looking rather unremarkable this morning. Roads not going to be quite as wet and slick as what we saw yesterday. Temperatures, though, likely going to be dropping today. We're at -9 right now to wake us up in Regina. Clear skies, though, and we're waking up to clear skies in Saskatoon as well. Winds going to be fairly calm today, 7 kilometers per hour right now in Saskatoon, but a chilly start to the day, -10. Definitely grab a thicker jacket on your way out the door. As I mentioned, this radar and satellite looking pretty unremarkable this morning. Parts of Alberta waking up to that dense fog advisory that we saw yesterday. We could be seeing a little bit more fog this morning in the province, but not as much as what we saw yesterday. Futurecast, as I mentioned, looking a little bit more clear than what we saw. Some more clouds up towards the north. Down towards the south, we're seeing a lot more of that sunshine later on this afternoon. Now, looking forward to the evening, still not seeing a lot. When we are going to be seeing some more precipitation making its way into the province is actually going to be early on Friday afternoon, and then this system is going to continue on in the north and parts of the central zone there until about Saturday morning. Let's take a look at these current temperatures now, though. So it's -4 in La Ronge, -7 to wake us up in Nipawin, -10 in Prince Albert, -7 in Melfort. Down towards the south, -6 in East End, Assiniboia and Moose Jaw. Also at -6 is Weyburn, -5 in Estevan this morning. Later on this afternoon, things are going to be warming up above the seasonal average still. Down towards the south in particular, though, is where we're seeing those warmer temperatures. So Swift Current up to 6 degrees, Weyburn up to 4 degrees, Estevan up to 4 degrees, and then some cooler temperatures through the central zone and the north. So Saskatoon only reaching -2 today, Prince Albert -3, and the Battlefords -3 as well. Now, 7-day forecast for Regina shows that we are going to be seeing a mix of sun and cloud with the temperatures remaining above that seasonal average throughout the weekend. On Monday, though, we are going to be seeing some more of those flurries, this likely coming later on into the evening on Monday and then connecting us into those morning hours on Tuesday, pushing off for the late afternoon on Tuesday. Wednesday, mix of sun and cloud dropping down to -7. In Saskatoon, the 7-day forecast showing that Saturday morning is when we could be seeing some more of that freezing rain. Going to be pushing off for the afternoon hours, so it's not going to be affecting you all day long on Saturday. And then some more of those flurries on the way for Monday, -2, and that is going to start in the early afternoon, carry us through to those evening hours.
Canadian adults are scoring poor grades when it comes to physical activity. A new report from Participation highlights where we can improve. Alison Bamford has the details.
Every step counts for Tennille LaFontaine when trying to squeeze exercise into her busy schedule.
I know as a parent that our kids are looking up to us to make sure that we're modeling these good behaviors, and I know that I'm not getting as much as my kids even are.
The mother of 3 isn't alone. Participation's new adult report card gives Canadians a C-, with less than half meeting physical activity guidelines.
A large majority have indicated that they have the desire to be physically active, but it's getting them past that intention and turning that into action that's the difficult part.
But it does take strength and stamina.
Hal Johnson has spent his career pushing people to move, but as co-host of Canada's Body Break, he's not seeing everyone practice what he's preached.
Absolutely. Society has changed to be less active. You can do a lot more things simply by your phone than you could ever do before. You'd have to get up.
Physical inactivity costs the healthcare system nearly $4 billion annually, according to the report. Advocates want all levels of government to promote fitness and remove financial barriers.
You take care of yourself now so that you can do things in the future.
And LaFontaine hopes to walk the same path she wants her own children to tread.
My generation as a kid growing up, being healthy meant diet culture and being skinny, whereas now being healthy means being active and being strong. So those are messages that I want to model.
As for Canadians who want to improve their grades in physical activity, experts say even a brisk walk can count towards heart-pumping minutes, and steps taken during a light stroll, house cleaning, or grocery shopping all add up. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Health Report brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Blue Cross, protecting your health since 1946.
Well, in case you missed it, it's time to start planning your Boxing Day lunch.
Already?
Yeah. Heinz is serving up something new for leftover lovers. Heinz leftover gravy.
Nope.
Yeah, they say this is the first ever squeezable bottle of turkey gravy. It's been created with the day after turkey sandwich in mind.
Okay.
If only it was around for Canadian Thanksgiving as well, right?
Yeah, just a little late but
yeah.
Wow.
This doesn't seem real. Why would they call it leftovers? That's silly.
I don't know.
Just call it gravy.
The funniest part to me is when you go into that aisle and you see all these concoctions that Heinz has come out with, and they have one called Mayo Chup. And my good friend Nelson Burt, who worked here for a very, very long time, said that actually in Cree means poop.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's like, every time we look at it, we laugh.
Oh, okay. Would you both try leftover gravy?
Controversial. I don't like gravy to begin with. Jeremy, would you try it?
Oh, you are so weird. Gravy is
true.
A+ condiment and more options. You can get it in a can, but it's not very good. I am going to buy this today.
I've been attacked today. Let's get to our question of the day.
All right, so today we're asking, because there's a big special announcement today about Country Thunder 2026. Who would you like to see perform at Country Thunder?
Be at the Rail Yard Saloon tonight, Jeremy, to announce the headliners. I know who they are, I will not comment.
Oh, okay.
You, Jeremy, can guess. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, George Strait's #1, but actually realistic? Tim McGraw. I love that. I love his stuff.
Okay.
Tim McGraw, I think, would also be a great answer, but if I'm living in my husband's fantasy world, he would love to see Zach Bryan.
Oh, Zach
Bryan, yeah.
I thought you were going with the wife on that one. We want to hear from you. Text your name and your answer. Who do you want to see perform at Country Thunder to 10400, or scan the QR code on your screen? We're overlooking the city of Saskatoon. Fill up your coffee. We're back in 2 minutes.
Hi, everyone. Mark Rowe inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday in Fort. We're going to head to Washington. Capitals taking on the Oilers. Second period, Ryan Leonard drives to the net with Evan Bouchard all over him. He beats the Oilers' blue liner and goes back in on Stuart Skinner for the goal. That's his 4th of the season, all part of a 7-4 win for Washington. And Leonard earning your must-see moment from Wednesday. Tonight on TSN, it's Week 12 of the NFL, and it's Thursday Night Football as Josh Allen and the Bills visit the Texans. It all starts at 7 p.m. Eastern on TSN 1 and 3. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
Now it is time for us to check in with Mike Siona. And would you believe he's got football on the brain? Mike?
Well, here we are just days away from the Vanier Cup, and if you didn't have enough Saskatchewan-Montreal football last weekend, we've got another matchup dialed up here. I'm joined by Seth Hundeby, linebacker for the University of Saskatchewan, heading to the Vanier Cup. How do you feel right now?
Good. Yeah, no, super good. At the start of the year, this is always the goal game to be in, so definitely happy that we've checked a lot of boxes to get here.
As everybody's at this time of year, you just want to be at work this week, right? But the week is now coming closer and closer to the championship game. You see the trophies actually painted on the wall here. What would it mean for you personally to win?
Yeah, especially as a fifth year, you know, like this is my last game as a Husky. I'd love to come home with a Vanier. Being able to play in 2 Vaniers and not quite win those games, especially the urge to win one now definitely burns a little bit more, and like it'd be amazing.
No doubt about it. Now, obviously in Saskatchewan, the game is in Regina at Mosaic Stadium. Just talk about what you would like to see in terms of an atmosphere in that building.
You know, like there's no doubt that like Saskatchewan loves football, so playing in Saskatchewan, I feel like there's going to be a good turnout, a lot of support. You know, I've had a lot of people just in and around school say like, hey, yeah, coming down to the game. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of fans that are going to come out to the game. You know, I bet you Montreal is going to travel really well. They have a good fan base there, so I bet you the energy there is going to be electric. Mostly, I think anytime you're in Mosaic, the energy is pretty electric. So I'm excited to have one more game there for sure.
Fantastic. All right, well, Seth, good luck this weekend. And just, I guess, one final question: how do you kind of handle those emotions, and what do you tell some of the guys that maybe is in their first game?
Yeah, no, being in 2, it's been helpful. A lot of it comes down to it's just gonna be one more snap of football. It doesn't mean you got to be Superman. Doesn't mean you got to do anything different. You just got to do your job and enjoy what you do. Trust the 11 guys around you, and yeah, just play football.
Love it. Couldn't have said it any better. Stay with us this morning. We're setting up Vanier all morning long.
All right, let's take a look at the school day forecast. It's brought to you by CAA School Safety Patrol, working together to keep our school zone safe. It's a cool start to the morning, really all across the prairies this morning. Regina at -9, -10 in Saskatoon right now. Definitely grab a warmer jacket on your way out the door. By lunchtime, we'll be at 0 degrees in Regina. Winds remaining fairly calm this afternoon. -4 by lunch in Saskatoon, and by final bell, we'll be at those daytime highs. 3 degrees expected for Regina today, with clear skies in the afternoon. By final bell in Saskatoon, -2, just a few more clouds. As we go to break, here's a look at those gas prices in Regina. The common price to fill up, $132.9. The lowest you might find, $109.9. Saskatoon sharing that common price this morning of $132.9. The lowest you might find, though, is $126.9. As we go over to those farm markets, the street price of canola at $589.12 per ton this morning. The futures price at $653.80 per ton. Amber durum wheat at $285.94 per ton, and red spring wheat at $254.45 per ton. And the Canadian dollar begins the day trading down at 71.23 cents US. After the break, a new fee coming to tire recycling in Saskatchewan. We'll have the details for you in just a couple minutes. Stay with us.
Say welcome to your morning. Saskatchewan is 6:30. Former Olympian turned alleged drug kingpin Ryan Wedding is facing new charges this morning.
Fugitive Ryan Wedding remains one of the top threats to Canadian public safety, and as per the previous indictment, continues to run an over $1 billion a year criminal enterprise.
The RCMP and FBI gave an update to the case yesterday. Wedding is facing new counts of witness tampering, intimidation, and money laundering. It's also alleged Wedding ordered the deaths of several witnesses. 10 suspects tied to Wedding were arrested this week. 7 of them are Canadian.
There's been tremendous cooperation between Canadian law enforcement and U.S. Law enforcement.
The 7 Canadian suspects were arrested during raids in Quebec, Ontario, and Alberta. Among those arrested was GTA lawyer Deepak Paradakar. It's alleged Paradakar advised Wedding, that killing a key witness would cause the case against him to collapse. The man and other Canadians arrested are now facing extradition. U.S. President Donald Trump has now signed off on a bill to release the Epstein case files.
But we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
The now signed legislation will compel the Trump administration to release the files. U.S. President Trump announced that he would sign the bill, and with a lengthy social media post said perhaps the truth about these Democrats and their associations with Jeffrey Epstein will soon be revealed because I just signed the bill to release the Epstein files, end quote. Now the Justice Department will need to release all files and communications related to Epstein, as well as any information about the investigation into his death within 30 days. Some documents could be withheld if they are related to an active investigation. Healthcare workers in Alberta have now issued a strike notice with job action set for this weekend.
No one chooses this lightly, but we reached a point where we had no choice.
We are aware of colleagues that are going to food banks and struggling to make it from paycheck to paycheck.
The union representing 16,000 Alberta hospital workers, including nurses and healthcare aides, says its members will hit the picket lines on Saturday. The two sides have been bargaining for nearly 20 months now. The province has offered 12% wage increases over 4 years. The union says that's not enough. The strike would be on a rotating schedule with 20% of members allowed to strike at a time, which is about 3,200 healthcare workers. If you're looking to get a new set of tires, you'll soon be paying a little bit more for tire recycling, according to the NDP opposition in this province. Saskatchewan's NDP is calling attention to the issue this week, with Tire Stewardship Saskatchewan set to raise its tire recycling fees. The fees help the independent not-for-profit organization pay the scrap tire recycling. The money does not go to the province. The NDP is calling for the province to step in and scrap the increase, linking the income jump to changes in who processes scrap tires here.
And now we see the Sask party turning around, as they always do, and downloading the costs of their own mismanagement onto drivers and taxpayers in Saskatchewan.
For most vehicles, the previous fees were either $5 or $14 per tire, with higher fees for heavy-duty industrial tires. That means a 30% increase would equal about an extra $1.50 per tire for most consumers. A fifth person has now been charged in an ongoing homicide investigation in Regina. A 20-year-old man has now been charged in the November 1st homicide on the 1000 block of 12th Avenue. The name of the victim is not being released at the family's request. Jaden Uchu is now charged with accessory after the fact to murder. He'll be in court later this morning. 4 others are also facing charges. A drug alert has been issued for Regina due to a high number of suspected overdoses. According to the Regina Fire and Protective Services, some of those who bought the drugs are believed they were buying crystal meth. Instead, they were getting a drug containing fentanyl and other opioids, creating a high risk of overdose, unconsciousness, even cardiac arrest. In some cases, first responders had to use multiple doses of naloxone and hospital intervention as well. Officials emphasize all illegal drugs can pose risks to your health. The Meadow Lake Tribal Council is demanding urgent action from governments to fix what they say is an urgent public safety crisis in their communities. Officials from the 9 First Nations that make up the Meadow Lake Tribal Council gathered in Saskatoon for meetings on Wednesday. They're calling for action to fix a chaotic situation that has gotten worse in the last 10 years. They say it's a result of drugs and gangs without police detachments on First Nations. Now, the Vice Chief says it can take up to an hour for police response, even 90 minutes.
We have communities that hold 2,000 people in these communities. Do we have people in southern Saskatchewan without that service? Why is it in northern Saskatchewan and First Nations people, we have 2,000 people and there's not a police force there?
Leaders say they want meetings with both levels of government to solve the issue, including more marshals and better RCMP presence in their communities. As Saskatchewan settles into winter road conditions, in some parts at least, more drivers turning to dashboard cameras. A report from market research firm Grand View Horizon suggests dash cam market in Canada growing by about 9%, with the revenue expected to reach $258 million by 2030. Dash cams can help with security and insurance claims, capturing moments like this on the University Bridge last month, which spread quickly online. A retail analyst says these videos shared on social media are a driving force behind the sales.
People share all kinds of videos, and those videos might not even be in Canada, but suddenly people are nervous about it. They see the social video, they think, my God, I don't want to, I don't want someone to back into me on the street and then try to extort me, or I don't want someone pretending to jump on my hood like I hit them. I need proof.
And with growing interest, Best Buy expects dash cams to be one of the hot ticket items on Black Friday. At the First Nations University of Canada, students had a chance to look into policing jobs around the prairies. National stations such as the Canadian Armed Forces were there, along with police from Edmonton, Brandon, and Medicine Hat. Paramedics in Regina were also there. Just an hour and a half from Regina, the File Hills First Nation, like many others, looking for officers now.
I know when I applied, I was 19, and this is what I wanted to do. And so even becoming a special constable is a great first step into policing. And of course, it's not just like constables or officers. It can be any type of law enforcement, whatever, that could be corrections or protective services, whatever it may be.
Only 20 years old, File Hills has 8 officers, 2 reservists, rather easy for me to say, and 5 special constables. The University of Saskatchewan Huskies, as you heard on the show, set to appear in the Vanier Cup this weekend. They'll be facing off against the Université de Montréal-Carabin this weekend at Mosaic Stadium in Regina. Head coach Scott Flory of the Huskies was on the team when they won in '98.
I just remember the focused team. I remember, a team that was a little bit on a mission, and I see a lot of the similarities in this group than to the group that we had then. There's a core group of fifth-year guys that we had back then that I think we see now as well, that are playing with an edge and that are leading that locker room.
Kickoff for the Vanier is 1 o'clock on Saturday. Tickets still available. The Spokane Chiefs spoiled the first stop of the Regina Pats U.S. road trip.
It's blocked. Now it's Harris from behind the net. Tried to wrap it around. Out front comes to Burkhardt. Fire shot. He
Chiefs built up a 2-goal lead and were able to hold on for a 3-2 win. The Pats have won 5 of their last 10. They'll be in Tri-City on Friday. I don't know if you heard in your ear, Director Corey really liked my slip into French there.
Oh, I didn't hear that in my ear.
Yeah,
Are you impressing? Okay.
Yeah, if you could slip some French words into your forecast, that'd be great.
I don't know any French. I know a little Spanish, but...
Okay, do it. There you go, multilingual. Catered audiences.
Okay, no, I don't think I can. It's going to be mucho frio. It's going to be cold. -9 this morning. Clear skies, what we're waking up to. Some southwest winds coming in at 13 kilometers per hour. -10 to wake us up in Saskatoon. Again, clear skies, but we're not really going to be seeing that sun for about another 2 hours or so here. So we got to be patient to start the day. Today's wind gusts looking lower than what we saw yesterday in a lot of places other than around the Parkland region, where we see those colors lighting up in yellow there. Could be seeing them up to about 35 or 40 kilometers per hour. The radar and satellite, though, looking a lot more unremarkable compared to what we saw yesterday when it was all lit up with that precipitation. We're not really seeing that today on the Futurecast either. We're just seeing some more of those clouds up towards the north. You see a little tiny patch just northeast of Prince Albert there. Other than that, though, we're just talking about mainly clear skies today, and the few amount of clouds that we're seeing earlier on in the afternoon are likely going to be pushing away throughout the later parts of the afternoon. We are talking about some more precipitation on the way as we look towards Friday. So this is entering the province earlier on in Friday afternoon. What you're looking at right now is about 4:30 p.m. on Friday. So Prince Albert could be seeing some of that freezing rain in the afternoon hours on Friday. However, that is then going to be pushing off for the later parts of the weekend. Current temperatures now across the country. As you can see, we are looking very cool throughout parts of the prairies. So -9, as we mentioned, in Regina, and -10 in Saskatoon, but -11 in Edmonton, -6 in Calgary. In Vancouver, it's at 8 degrees, so definitely not as cool there. 4 degrees in Thunder Bay, -1 in Toronto, and -5 over in Ottawa this morning. Today's forecast for across our province: 6 degrees for Swift Current, 1 degree for Yorkton with mainly clear skies throughout the afternoon. Prince Albert -3, the Battlefords reaching -3, and then down through the south, we're seeing some warmer temperatures. So Weyburn up to 5, Estevan up to 4 degrees with that sunshine. Now, if you're wondering when we're going to be getting some more of that precipitation, well, not throughout the weekend, at least for us in Regina. 5 degrees for Saturday and Sunday with that nice mix of sun and cloud, and then some more flurries on the way on Monday, connecting us into Tuesday. So it's likely going to be starting later on into those late afternoon, evening hours in Regina, and then continuing on into Monday morning, pushing off for the afternoon. In Saskatoon, a little bit different here. We're seeing some freezing rain on Saturday morning. That's going to be pushing off for the afternoon for just a mix of sun and cloud, and then some flurries returning for the day on Monday, starting in the early afternoon and carrying us into the evening.
The quantum computer. It can be your virtual paradise or your own personal hell. When we downloaded, 500 years had passed. We lost our world, our loved ones, my little girl, our very selves.
Academy Award winner Brendan Fraser is one of the voices you will hear in the downloaded 2 Ghosts in the Machine, and the man behind the book is with us today, our friend Robert J. Sawyer, among many things. So welcome. Good to see you again.
Hey, Jeff, wonderful to be back. Thank you.
And just to remind people, of course, an award-winning science fiction author, the person behind the television series Fast Forward, and as well, the writer in residence at the Canadian Light Source here in Saskatoon for a time. So it was nice to have you here in the Bridge City and in Saskatchewan.
I've got deep roots in the land of endless sky. I love Saskatchewan.
So let's talk about this book. We talked when the downloaded first came out. Did you know when you were coming out, when you were writing the downloaded, that there might be a sequel?
I had no no idea there would be a demand for a sequel. And in fact, had I known, I would not have painted myself into several corners that I did paint myself into, particularly in the final scene of the original The Downloaded. It took many, many weeks of banging my head against the wall to come up with answers to devise a sequel. But the early reviews are saying The Downloaded 2 is even better than the original. So I think I pulled a rabbit out of the hat with that one, Jeff.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. You're a man of many talents. Let's talk about the sort of the Downloaded one, just to recap for people, sort of set a new, I'll say, precedent or a new wrinkle in releasing a book, because it came out first as an audio book, and the same thing is happening with The Downloaded too.
Yes, Audible approached me and said, look, we want to expand our list of major Canadian properties that we have. And they asked me to write something originally for them. I said, well, I'm a novelist. I'm going to write a novel, and you can have it for 6 months in advance of it coming out. And so we came to that deal. And then they asked me, who did I want to have narrate it? And I, pie in the sky, said Brendan Fraser, and they said, done. So we got Brendan both for The Downloaded and The Downloaded 2.
Now, you say you got Brendan for this. I don't know what the process was like. It's interesting. He does have a Saskatchewan connection. In fact, his dad used to work in this very newsroom many years ago. But were there any interesting negotiations, or did you just simply ask and he said yes?
Only about how many zeros would go on the figure at the check. But yes, he was delighted to reprise the narrator's role in Downloaded 2. He loves the material, and he is such a wonderful guy and a great performer. It was just a thrill to be working with him again.
When you write a novel, are you sitting it down, I'm only focusing on this, or do you have other things on the go?
So I sometimes have some nonfiction articles and so forth, but I really, this bald-headed brain of mine can only hold all the elements of a single book at one time. It's a big juggling act enough to do a single book.
Always great to talk to you, and people can find the Audible book obviously on Audible, and where will they eventually be able to find the hard copy?
The print book will be out in May of next year across Canada. Your favorite bookstore, you'll be able to get it, no problem. The Downloaded 2, Ghosts in the Machine, by me, Robert J. Sawyer.
All right, that's great. Thanks so much for your time today.
Cheers, my friend.
A collective sigh of relief on Bay and Wall Streets after NVIDIA delivered a surprisingly strong revenue forecast and pushed back on the idea that the AI industry is in a bubble, easing concerns that had spread across the tech sector. The world's most valuable company expects sales of about $65 billion in the January quarter, roughly $3 billion more than analysts predicted. NVIDIA also said that a $500 billion revenue bonanza due in coming quarters may be even bigger than anticipated. Well, Canada is going to start negotiations with the UAE on a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. It would cut tariffs, remove trade barriers, and expand market access to Canadian exporters, while helping facilitate UAE investment into major projects in Canada, including data centers and critical minerals. The UAE is one of Canada's top trading partners in the Middle East and Northern Africa. Prime Minister Mark Carney has been pushing to strengthen ties around the world as part of the trade war with the U.S. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
It's November 20th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We're starting off with a belated birthday wish going out to Zane. He marked his 14th birthday yesterday, and his mom, dad, Tyvin, and Willow are all sending him so much love. And a big happy birthday going out to Melody for her 5th birthday. Her grandma and grandpa want to wish her a very happy day and a great year ahead. Enjoy. Happy birthday wishes also going out to Joan today for her 70th birthday. We're told she's the best mom, baba, sister, and aunt. We hope you enjoyed your special day in Puerto Vallarta. And finally, a big happy birthday going out to Grandma Barb's. We hope your day is super special with lots of love from your Morin family. Enjoy your day. If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least one day in advance.
Brenda, were you surprised by any of the big winners last night at the CMAs?
No, Not at all, actually. Oh, well, I guess the group of the year, the Red Strays, I've never heard of them before, but it's kind of nice to see a new band emerge. Chris Stapleton didn't win Male Artist of the Year for the 18th year in a row, so shout out to Zach Top. And Lainey Wilson, I won, even though I think your heart was going to pick Lainey, but I picked her first to win Entertainer of the Year, so I win the bet. So I hope you've been professing your love all morning. I just assume you have anyways, but that was the deal, so continue. And hey, more star power coming up. You can be on a beach with Dean Brody in, like, I think he wears those like short board shorts. You could be with him hanging out on a beach in Mexico with direct travel. With the big Boots on the Beach win, all you got to do is sign up on our website, and I'm calling you coming up at 7 o'clock. Doesn't matter where you're from in Saskatchewan. Listen to us. Call back first, and you're in to win Boots on the Beach at PureCountry927.ca.
Okay. All right, so old English is how we're going to do this one, and I used a little assist here. By my troth, no fair light hath ever blessed my eyes.
That's beautiful, man. Thank you. That means a lot.
Grab a tissue.
I love you, too.
Okay, bye.
There's a house, and it's flying through the sky. I'm off to see the wizard.
A lot of people are off to see The Wizard this weekend. Box office watchers predict Wicked for Good could debut with $150 million or more. That would soar past the first Wicked film, which opened with $112.5 million this same weekend last year. The follow-up could score the biggest debut of the year. A Minecraft movie opened with $162.8 million back in April.
This isn't the end of the line. Not for you.
Neither is being over 50. One battle after another leads the nominations for this year's Movies for Grown-Ups Awards with AARP. It's up for 8 awards, including Best Movie for Grown-Ups. Also up for the top prize, A House of Dynamite with 3 nominations, Sinners, which also received 3 nods, Train Dreams with 2 nominations, and Hamnet. The Movies for Grown-Ups Awards, honoring the year's best film and TV, celebrating the voices and stories of the 50-plus, takes place January 10th in Beverly Hills and airs on PBS in February. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Wedding planners often have a pretty stressful job, which is why this one takes her job pretty seriously. All right, so this video going viral on social media, and people have all kinds of opinions. The wedding planner was, I don't know, late or helping with the train or something, but slides down the side, and that's all the people are looking at now.
So I did see this online. There was a lot of opinions about it on both sides, whether this was appropriate or not for the wedding planner to do. What do you two think?
I don't like it for the weather planner either.
What do you think, Jamie?
I think she's trying to get out of the way, out of the shot.
At that point, you just got to wait, though.
Inadvertently takes the spotlight, but I don't think it was intentional.
No, I don't think it was intentional, but I think
the bride was okay with it. So afterwards, she didn't know it was going to happen, but afterwards she said she wasn't upset. So that's all that matters.
Kind of like a superhero. Time out. We're back right after this. It is Thursday, November 20th. Prime Minister Mark Carney has signed a new foreign investment agreement in Abu Dhabi.
New information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads.
U.S. President Donald Trump has now signed a law forcing the U.S. Justice Department to release the files on Jeffrey Epstein within 30 days.
Everything's just been really cool these last couple days, so but we know business is business. We just hope it continues to be family business.
Fresh off a Grey Cup win and a parade in Regina, the off-season work begins for your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Stay with us. Your morning starts right now. welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. We hope your Thursday is off to a great start.
Very, very exciting day. We're going to find out the headliners for Country Thunder Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and so we're asking, question of the day. We're asking, who would you like to see perform for Country Thunder in 2026?
Yeah, you text 10400 or you scan the QR code. We'll show in a minute. One other note, if you're watching out there and you have milestones to send in, that's your birthdays, your anniversaries, all those sorts of things. If you're sending it to saskmorninglive@bellmedia.ca, that email inbox is dead. So if you send an email in and you're like, why didn't Kayleen show my picture? You sent it to the wrong email.
Got a few of those emails.
Your Morning Saskatchewan at CTV.ca is the only one. Okay, let's get to news after I've chastised our viewers. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Abu Dhabi this morning where he signed an agreement with the United Arab Emirates. The Prime Minister is also launching talks for full trade deals alongside UAE President, and the talks are aimed at an eventual comprehensive economic partnership agreement. This morning, Carney also toured the ornate Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, which he described as an inspiring way of showcasing materials and knowledge from around the world.
Apart from the sheer beauty and the inspiration that it provides, it unifies in so many different ways.
Carney's visit comes a month after the two countries signed an agreement to boost collaboration on artificial intelligence and data centers. A new trade agreement has been signed to break down trade barriers within this country.
For businesses, it means they can sell across Canada, save time and costs, have a bigger reach, grow and create new jobs.
The deal was signed on by the provinces, territories, and the federal government. It works on the idea that if something is allowed to be sold in one province, it can be sold anywhere in the country without extra red tape. The deal applies to thousands of products, excluding food, beverages, tobacco, plants, and animals. Comes into effect next month. Premier Scott Moe is back from Washington, where he met with U.S. officials to talk trade, tariffs, protecting Saskatchewan jobs. Moe says the $40 billion in imports and exports across the border each and every year, mentioning how tariff-free trade is critical given the U.S. is the largest trading partner. He added Saskatchewan products like oil, potash, and canola help lower costs for the Americans.
Specifically, grocery prices in the U.S. are increasing, and Saskatchewan has a role to play in that. And so I view it as a positive from our province's perspective, because it would lend credence to the reason to not put tariffs on some of the products that we're sending to the United States of America.
The Premier says it's important to keep trade channels open to protect jobs, supporting both economies. We should find out today if the man accused in the shooting death of a woman on a Weyburn highway will get bail. Details of the case are under a publication ban until Chris Fahlman's eventual trial. On September 12th, Tanya Myers was in a moving vehicle outside of Weyburn when she was hit by a bullet. On November 1st, Fahlman has his charges upgraded from manslaughter to second-degree murder. 2 weeks later, Fahlman's bail hearing will now conclude later today. Saskatoon judge has ruled on a case we've been following for quite some time. We say good morning to Jeremy Dodge and find out what happened. Over to you.
Good morning, Daryl. Thank you very much. So a Saskatoon judge has ruled there are too many unanswered questions around the death of a Saskatoon man almost 3 years ago to convict two people of murder. In August of 2022, James Swift and a woman were found injured near Penner Road, just outside Saskatoon. Ashton Ritzend and Colton Lishka were charged with second-degree murder in Swift's death and attempted murder in the stabbing of the woman. During trial earlier this year, court heard the violence erupted when there was a fight over cocaine. In a written decision released earlier this month, the judge said there were too many holes in the story because of alcohol and drugs, and it wasn't proven beyond a reasonable doubt who did the stabbing that led to Swift's death. The judge instead ruled the two were guilty of manslaughter and aggravated assault for the attack on the woman. A third man, Anthony Burley, pleaded guilty to being an accessory to manslaughter earlier this year and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. The fate of a massage therapist accused of sexual assault is now in the hands of a jury. The 69-year-old Kenneth Braun facing 6 charges of sexual assault. The evidence presented during his trial has been under a publication ban so as not to interfere with a future court date. A judge spent more than 3 hours yesterday giving careful instructions and considerations for the 12-person jury. They are now deliberating. Daryl, a new report highlighting food insecurity in this country.
It's our friends over at Dalhousie University's Agriculture and Food Analytics Lab saying that food insecurity is reaching a record high. Just over a quarter of respondents said they struggle to afford food, while nearly half said they seek out sales and discounts due to food inflation. Affordability has become the largest factor affecting food purchasing decisions, followed by nutrition, then taste. After 2 rounds of major projects announcements without Alberta involved, sources tell CTV News that the province and Ottawa are days away from announcing a memorandum of understanding for a pipeline project. Danielle Smith's office releasing a statement today that it's in the final stages of a pipeline deal with Ottawa and will have more to say soon. The pipeline would connect to northwestern BC, a project BC's premier has long opposed. The smallest ever nation has qualified for the World Cup.
Obispo gets the header out. Curaçao have done it.
Curaçao made soccer history after a 0-0 draw on Tuesday, with Jamaica qualifying for the 2026 World Cup for the first time. The island, home to just 158,000 people, located in the Caribbean Sea just southeast of Aruba. After 2.5 days of partying, it was time for the riders to pack up and say goodbye. The team cleaned out their lockers, a moment made a lot easier with a Grey Cup nearby. Donovan Mace reports.
Players may be packing their things into garbage bags. But the way the 2025 season ended for the Saskatchewan Roughriders is anything but.
It doesn't feel like the normal garbage bag day when you get sent home early, but it definitely feels weird because you're still leaving your boys.
While still riding the high of a Grey Cup championship, this day remains bittersweet as the team's final day together draws to an end.
My kids are gonna call them uncle. Like these are friends for a lifetime. You know, and I'm happy that we got to accomplish something.
I do. I want to be back. Want to do it again. Love you guys. Love coming to work. Love seeing you guys.
The biggest question remains the future of a 39-year-old quarterback fresh off a Grey Cup MVP performance.
I don't think this will take long. The only thing that I try and maintain is that if I do come back, that the same exact drive, the same exact motivation, the same exact work ethic, if not more, will be there.
Any time that he may need to make that decision for himself and his family, I think everybody understands the kind of sacrifice it is for anybody to go on a journey like this as a football player, to be the quarterback of the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
But Harris, not the only player contemplating what is next.
You never know if you're going to be back. You never know with some family stuff and other decisions. You never know with where the team's at. There's a million things that go into it, and I just haven't got to speak to really anyone.
It's been, my goal was to always, play at least a decade here and win a Grey Cup. And, time flies. I mean, I'm 36 right now. I'll be 37 next September. So, I feel great body-wise. I feel like I could keep playing.
Riders GM Jeremy O'Day is expected to speak with media next week as the team looks towards the off-season with hopes of keeping the cup in Saskatchewan. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
The Spokane Chiefs spoiled the first stop on the Regina Pats U.S. road trip.
It's blocked. Now it's Harris from behind the net. Tried to wrap it around. Out front comes to Burkhardt. Fire shot. He scores!
The Chiefs built up a 2-goal lead and were able to hold on for a 3-2 win. The Pats have won just 5 of their last 10. They'll be in Tri-City to take on the Americans on Friday night. We turn our attention to the weather picture, which is a little better than it was yesterday. We can at least see behind you.
Yeah, so we're not seeing quite as much fog throughout the province as what we saw yesterday. We're also not really seeing as much precipitation as what we saw yesterday. We're going to be seeing that sun shining throughout this afternoon, just temperatures a little bit cooler. -8 right now to wake us up in Regina. Just a few clouds to start the day. 7-kilometer-per-hour winds for both of the major cities, and Saskatoon currently waking up to -11. So that snow has been sticking around from what we saw yesterday. The radar and satellite not showing a whole lot, though, compared to what we saw in it yesterday. The dense fog advisory is over in Alberta this morning. So again, not seeing those visibility issues quite as bad on the roads this morning. The futurecast showing that we're seeing a lot more of that cloud cover way up to the north today, down towards the south. Just a few clouds to start the day, and most of those down towards the south are clearing into the afternoon hours. And then we're looking forward to the weekend, where we are seeing some more precipitation making its way through the north, and then just slightly into that central zone. Prince Albert could be seeing some of that freezing rain on Friday afternoon, and then that system's going to be sticking around in the north until Saturday morning. Current temperatures now, we're seeing -10 to wake us up in Prince Albert, -5 in Hudson Bay right now, Spirit Wood at -7, down towards the south, -6 in Wynyard, -4 in Yorkton, and -6 to wake us up in Assiniboia. Later on this afternoon, we're seeing some warmer temperatures down towards the south. Throughout the central zones, though, not going to be seeing those positive temperatures for some places. North Battleford, -3 this afternoon. Prince Albert, -3. Saskatoon, -2. Down towards the south, though, Swift Current up to 6 degrees. Weyburn up to 5 degrees. And Estevan up to 4 degrees with a whole lot of sunshine on the way. Let's turn our attention now to this 7-day forecast. So we're seeing that mix of sun and clouds carry us through the weekend for Regina. Temperatures at about 5 degrees for Saturday and Sunday, so getting just a little bit warmer than what we're seeing today and tomorrow. Then as we make our way into our next work week, we're going to start seeing some more of those flurries. So it's going to start likely later in the afternoon on Monday for Regina, carry us through the evening hours, and then into Tuesday morning, pushing away for Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday with that mix of sun and cloud dropping down to -7. In Saskatoon, we're seeing a high of -2 for both today and tomorrow. Temperatures warming up slightly for Saturday and Sunday, up to those positive temperatures of 3 degrees. Some freezing rain on Saturday morning, pushing away from the city for the afternoon, making way for just a mix of sun and cloud throughout the afternoon. And then some more flurries on the way for Monday. That's likely starting in the early afternoon on our radar as of right now, carrying us into the later parts of the afternoon as well. It's time for a quick look at this rural forecast. This afternoon, we're seeing a mix of sun and cloud for many places throughout the central and southern zones. -2 for Watrous, Wynyard up to -1. 3 degrees for Outlook with that sunshine in Kindersley, up to 3 degrees as well. A little bit warmer down towards the south, though, so Maple Creek reaching 7 degrees today. Easton Cypress, cooler, 3 degrees. Coronach up to 6 degrees with that sunshine. And Broadview and Carlisle both expecting those highs of 3 degrees as well with that sunshine. Let's take a look at Cut Knife, where internet plans up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel. The high today expected to be about -2, so not really going to be seeing those positive temperatures, unfortunately, but we are going to be seeing that sunshine. Just a few clouds and winds up to 20 kilometers per hour.
Saskatchewan versus Montreal. That is the matchup at this year's Vanier Cup in Regina, and our Mike Siona is setting it up for us this morning.
Well, we're down here at the University of Saskatchewan Husky Football Clubhouse this morning, and we are joined now by Riker Frank, a running back for the U of S Huskies, now the Mitchell Bowl champions. 2 weeks ago, the Canada West champions, and that trophy painted on the wall back there is the next target. Talk to me about the preparations for the Vanier Cup.
Yeah, I mean, you know, same as every other week. We're just trying to go 1-0 on the week, so we're showing up practice, and we're putting in the work. We're game planning, we're watching film, all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a big game, but you still got to prepare the same way.
I like that. Football still played 10 yards at a time, 1 possession at a time. You can't score more than 1 touchdown on any play. All those cliches. Let's strip away and maybe just talk about you individually, because the University of Saskatchewan, you're a Regina kid. You played your high school football there. What is it going to mean for you to step out in the national championship game, essentially at home?
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool, you know, full circle moment for me because, like you said, I'm a Regina guy, and I'm going to end up playing my last Husky football game in Regina. So I imagine it's going to feel like a home game for me. I'm going to have lots of family out there in a familiar stadium. So, yeah, I'm excited for that.
Love that. Now, what sort of familiarity do you guys breed? I mean, obviously, you've had a lot of success in that building. How much of that can you draw upon, especially maybe early when the nerves start to get at you?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's nice is it's pretty close to home, right? It's not a plane ride. It's a quick 2-hour bus ride. So that aspect will be nice, but also just we know we're gonna have a lot of fans there too. So we know our fans are gonna be traveling. We know they're gonna pack the stands. We know they're gonna be loud and cheering for us. So I think for us that's the biggest thing, just knowing how much support we have in the stands and, you know, seeing all those familiar faces out there.
No doubt about it. Well, there you go. You know, you've got about 30,000 of you can fit into that barn for the Vanier Cup, and why wouldn't you? University of Saskatchewan against Montreal this weekend.
if the Grey Cup championship wasn't enough for one rider fan from Saskatoon, he got a special call from the head coach himself that he made himself $1 million richer.
This is not a joke, buddy.
This is not
a joke. You're our 50-50 winner.
You won the 50-50, my man. Let's freaking go.
Yeah, you did.
Let's go, Wade. 1 million, baby.
Wade Gasmo of Saskatoon couldn't believe his ears when Corey Mace and Cindy Fuchs, of course, called and told him he's Grey Cup 50-50 jackpot winner, taking home a little more than $1 million. The Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation's Grey Cup 50-50 was the largest in CFL history. Mace joked with Gasmo, saying that this meant he had to buy season tickets for the next couple of years. So I think that's probably...
Yeah, I think you owe it to them, yeah.
And also, did you see that the person that won the Grey Cup 50-50 in-house in the Winnipeg Stadium was about $500,000? It was the wife of one of the Alouettes players.
No,
So they lost the game, but she went home with a check.
Okay.
Didn't get a ring, got a check. She can buy her own ring.
Yeah, take some good with the bad.
Yeah, I was like, if I'm her, I'm like, that's a pretty good day.
Yeah,
it's still a pretty good.
It's still a good day.
Pretty decent day. It's also a great day because we're going to be down at the Rail Yard Saloon tonight to release the list of Country Thunder headliners tonight, and a few lucky listeners from Pure Country 92.7 are going to be there as well. We want to know from you a very simple question.
Yeah, so we're asking you, who would you like to see perform at Country Thunder 2026? Now, Daryl, as we talked about it earlier, you already know these, so you may not comment.
I get to do what every person in Saskatchewan wants me to do, and shut up.
Okay, but, so no comment from Daryl on if any of these are correct, but we had Lori write in and said she's hoping for George Strait, Garth Brooks, or Chris Stapleton. Garth Brooks really was the #1 answer coming in on the text line this morning. Rod Jr. is saying George Strait, got to be my only #1 pick for Country Thunder. Have an awesome day. Then second place coming in, definitely Lainey Wilson. We had a bunch of answers coming in for Lainey Wilson. So this is from Fresca and from Michelle B, saying that that woman has an amazing voice, and ain't that the truth? So we want to hear from you. Text your name and your answer to 10400. Standard message rates may apply. Who would you like to see perform at Country Thunder in 2026?
Hi, everyone. Mark Rowe inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday in Fort. We're going to head to Washington. Capitals taking on the Oilers. Second period, Ryan Leonard drives to the net with Evan Bouchard all over him. He beats the Oilers' blue liner and goes back in on Stuart Skinner for the goal. That's his 4th of the season, all part of a 7-4 win for Washington. And Leonard earning your must-see moment from Wednesday. Tonight on TSN, it's Week 12 of the NFL, and it's Thursday Night Football as Josh Allen and the Bills visit the Texans. It all starts at 7 p.m. Eastern on TSN 1 and 3. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
Time for your morning mystery. It is a performer. We're going to have 3 clues. Guess along right with us. This performer is allergic to cats. That's clue #1. Clue #2, her name is inspired by Princess Oriana from Felix the Cat. You probably don't know Felix the Cat, do you?
Oh, no, I know this answer, though.
She became famous playing the cat Valentine in the Nickelodeon TV shows Victorious from 2010 to 2013 and Sam and Cat from 2013 to 14.
This is a very easy one, Daryl. Come on.
I don't know if I know how to spell this.
I've never been so confident in a morning mystery.
Oh, it's about time. It's about time, honestly. We've been doing this for months now. Okay, I got an answer. Jeremy, you got an answer? Okay, I got an answer.
Yeah.
Is it Ariana Grande? Ariana Grande!
Okay, but as a side note, everyone go look up Cat Valentine when Ariana Grande played her, and tell me that doesn't look like Janelle Pai.
Oh, really?
Tell me.
Okay, well, we can compare and contrast. Wicked for Good, which she stars in, is scheduled to be released in theaters, a wide release tomorrow.
Studio consideration provided by Father's Furniture, specializing in quality Canadian-made furniture.
Your School day forecast is brought to you by CAA School Safety Patrol, working together to keep our school zones safe. If you're heading out to catch the bus in Regina or Saskatoon, it's a chilly start to the day. Definitely bundle up. -8 in Regina right now, -11 in Saskatoon. By lunchtime, warming up to 0 degrees for Regina, -4 still for lunchtime in Saskatoon. And by final bell, that expected daytime high in Regina, 3 degrees with some sunshine and winds coming in up to 20 kilometers per hour. In Saskatoon, -2, a few more clouds and still seeing those calm winds. As we go to break, here's a look at those gas prices in Regina and Saskatoon. The common price this morning is $132.9. The lowest you might find in Regina, though, is $109.9, and the lowest you might find in Saskatoon is $126.9. Over to the farm markets now, where the street price of canola is starting the day at $589.12 per ton, and the futures price is at $653.80 per ton. Amber Durham wheat starting the day at $285.94 per ton, and red spring wheat at $254.45 per ton. And the Canadian dollar trading down this morning at 71.23 cents US. After the break, a new football academy is coming. We'll tell you where and why. Stay with us.
Just about 7:30, thank you for being with us. Regina's emergency shelters are gearing up for the winter. Extra beds are being added and warm-up centers are preparing to open. Wednesday, the provincial government announced additional funding to keep the homeless safe during the winter weather. Wayne Mantica leads us off.
People who rely on Regina's Carmichael outreach are pleased that government funding is in place to keep the doors open all night.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We can't rent apartments and, they won't rent to us at all.
The provincial government has offered $1.1 million to the city of Regina to provide around-the-clock warm-up centers for the winter. It could add to the number of places available.
This represents a significant increase from previous years, and I want to thank our provincial partners for recognizing the scale of need and stepping forward with this commitment.
It's part of a 3-year, $20 million package of additional provincial funding that will be shared amongst municipalities across Saskatchewan.
This additional investment will build on programs and services already in place that will provide multi-year funding for community-led responses to homelessness.
Regina's new emergency shelter will be expanded from 50 to 55 permanent spaces.
It is a need. We see a high turnaway number, so this is good for us. This allows for RISS and the New Beginning Shelter to operate and to really start to see and hopefully address, I think, some of the needs that we know exist in our community.
The NDP believe there should be more focus on permanent housing.
I think what would be better is to maybe open up the thousands of Sask housing units that sit empty throughout the province, rather than wasting taxpayers' dollars, putting them up in these hotels temporarily, having more of a kind of a lasting solution.
The government says it will continue to spend money in areas that have demonstrated progress and are having a positive impact. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, Regina.
Former Olympian turned alleged drug kingpin Ryan Wedding is facing new charges this morning.
Ryan Wedding remains one of the top threats to Canadian public safety, and as per the previous indictment, continues to run an over $1 billion a year criminal enterprise.
RCMP and FBI gave an update to the case yesterday. Wedding is facing new counts of witness tampering, intimidation, and money laundering. It's also alleged Wedding ordered the deaths of several witnesses. 10 suspects tied to Wedding were arrested this week, 7 of those Canadian.
There's been tremendous cooperation between Canadian law enforcement and U.S. Law enforcement.
The 7 Canadian suspects were arrested during raids in Quebec, Ontario, and Alberta. Among those arrested was a lawyer. It's alleged he advised Wedding that killing a key witness would cause the case to collapse. He and the other Canadians arrested are now facing extradition. U.S. President Donald Trump has now signed off on a bill to release the Jeffrey Epstein files.
But we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
Signed legislation will now compel the Trump administration to release the files. U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he will sign the bill with a lengthy post on social media saying, quote, perhaps the truth about these Democrats and their associations with Jeffrey Epstein will soon be revealed because I just signed the bill to release the Epstein files, end quote. Now, the Justice Department will need to release all files and communications related to Epstein, as well as any information about the investigation into his death within 30 days. But some documents could be withheld if they are related to an active investigation. A fifth person has now been charged in an ongoing homicide investigation in Regina. A 20-year-old man has now been charged in the November 1st homicide in the 1000 block of 12th Avenue. The name of the victim is not being released at the family's request. Jaden Uchu is now charged with accessory after the fact to murder. He'll be in court later this morning. 4 others are also charged. The Meadow Lake Tribal Council is issuing an urgent plea to both the provincial and federal governments, saying policing in northern Saskatchewan is broken and putting lives at risk. Leaders say long RCMP response times and increasing gang activity have created what they call a chaotic situation. Carla Shinkaruk reports.
The drug epidemic is unprecedented. Everything is uncontrolled. It's like the Wild West.
Roy Cheecham is a tribal counselor with the Clearwater River Dene First Nation. He says the situation is critical with safety in question.
When you call for police assistance, they're understaffed. They don't have time.
Members of the Meadow Lake Tribal Council explained at a news conference Wednesday the crisis facing their communities with the lack of law enforcement.
Why is it in northern Saskatchewan and First Nations people, we have 2,000 people and there's not a police force there?
The communities pay for their own security to try to keep people safe, over $1 million a year in some cases, with RCMP detachments in neighboring areas. Response time for RCMP to get to some of the more remote areas is over an hour, according to Chief Jeremy Norman.
Best case scenario, you're getting robbed. You're going to be waiting an hour and 15 minutes. That's if the call was answered and they jump in the vehicle right now.
RCMP told CTV News this in an email. A number of factors influence response times, such as geographical challenges with vast size of many of the detachment areas, road and weather conditions, call severity, volume, and level of urgency of other calls at the time. Some here explain that unlawful residents are often evicted from the First Nation, but it doesn't fix the situation.
It's not one issue. It's a combination of issues. But today we're here for safety.
The Provincial Marshal Service is one of the resources this group would like to see utilized more in their communities.
This is a cry out to the governments. Look at your people of Canada need help. And that's what we're here to ask for. We're here to ask the governments to step up now.
The province told CTV News that they recognize the concerns being raised and they're committed to working with leadership and the RCMP across the province and advancing First Nations policing. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
As Saskatchewan settles into winter road conditions, drivers are now turning to dashboard cameras en masse. A report from market research firm Grandview Horizon suggests the dash cam market in Canada is growing by about 9% a year, with revenue expected to hit about $258 million US by 2030. Dash cams can help with security and insurance claims, capturing moments like this one you remember on the University Bridge in Saskatoon last month, which spread quickly online. A retail analyst says videos like this are a driving force behind dash cam buys.
People share all kinds of videos, and those videos might not even be in Canada, but suddenly people are nervous about it. They see the social video, they think, my God, I don't want someone to back into me on the street and then try to extort me, or I don't want someone pretending to jump on my hood like I hit them. I need proof.
And with growing interest, Best Buy expects dash cams to be one of the hot ticket items on Black Friday. Regina Public and Catholic schools have partnered with Regina Minor Football to launch a football academy in the Queen City. The newly launched Regina Football Academy will provide students in grades 9 through 11 new learning and skill building opportunities. The program is set to begin the second semester of the 26-27 school year and will give students a chance to earn high school credits while practicing and honing football skills.
Yeah, I think more coaching will obviously help, and I think that in the academy you'll have more opportunities to show what you have, I'm pretty sure, and more teams could look out and reach out to you in that sense.
Not unlike a hockey academy. We have several of those, right? Program organizers say the next steps will be to determine student and parent interest in the academy. Families will receive additional information through school division websites. There we go. We turn our attention to Keelan Swatsky, who's promising more hockey-like than football weather.
Yeah, well, we are seeing temperatures dropping, but we're not exactly seeing any more of that precipitation until the weekend, so at least that's nice to see. We're also not seeing as much fog out there to start the day, really anywhere in the province, compared to what we saw yesterday. So again, more good news in the sense that your commute is going to be just that much easier this morning. -8 to wake us up in Regina, though. We were having clear skies a little bit earlier on this morning. Now we have seen some clouds make their way over top of the city, and winds rather calm this morning in Regina and Saskatoon, only coming in at 7 kilometers per hour. Saskatoon, though, cooler start to the day. We're at -11 right now with those clear skies. We're not really going to be seeing those wind gusts increasing all too much across the province today. The strongest winds we're going to be seeing could be around the Yorkton area, where they could be peaking at about 40 kilometers per hour. Areas to the west of Saskatchewan seeing winds rather low today. The radar and satellite looking very unremarkable compared to what we saw yesterday when it was lit up with all those colors indicating all that precipitation, that freezing rain, and the flurries we saw yesterday. Not really seeing that going forward into today either. You do see just the smallest patch just northeast of Prince Albert there on the screen, but then as we make our way into the afternoon hours today, we're seeing that disappear. We're seeing clouds start to clear as well. We're going to be seeing a lot of sunshine today, and then some more precipitation making its way in for the weekend. So this is Friday about 5 p.m. You're going to be getting off for work, and if you're waking up with us in Prince Albert this morning, you should know that some more freezing rain is on the way. And then areas to the north of Prince Albert are going to be getting some more flurries into Saturday morning. Current temperatures now all across Canada showing that the prairies, or parts of it rather, are very cold this morning. Over on the west coast, warmer, 8 degrees in Vancouver, -6 though in Calgary, -10 in Edmonton. Over in Thunder Bay, we're seeing 4 degrees already, -1 in Toronto and -4 in Ottawa. So that's a little look at how we compare this morning. But into the afternoon, we're just going to focus in on Saskatchewan with these highs this afternoon, seeing them warmer to the south. Swift Current up to 6 degrees, Moose Jaw up to 5 degrees, 5 degrees in Weyburn and 4 degrees in Estevan. And then some parts of the central zone not really going to be seeing those positive temperatures at all this afternoon, where the Battlefords are only peaking at -4, -2 for Saskatoon, and then -3 for Prince Albert. The 7-day forecast in Regina showing that we do have some more flurries on the way, but they're not really going to start until your next work week. Monday, late into the afternoon and into the evening hours, we'll be seeing those flurries starting, continuing on into Tuesday morning, pushing off for the afternoon. In Saskatoon, expect some freezing rain on Saturday morning and some flurries on the way for Monday afternoon.
Here's what's happening in our community. A Christmas decor and bake sale November 20th and 21st at 9:30 a.m. at the Balcarres Golden Age Center in Balcarres. Quilts and More sale happening November 21st and 22nd at 10 a.m. This is happening at Holy Family Church, 1021 McCarthy Boulevard North. And a concert out in Sturgis at the Community Hall Friday, November 21st starts at 7:30 p.m. For more information, call 306-547-7068. If you'd like your event shown here, email us reginacommunity@bellmedia.ca at least 2 weeks in advance. Let's talk City Hall as we welcome in the mayor of this fine city, Chad Buczynski. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Let's start with the one that people are talking maybe the most about, and that is the street team. Some don't want it under city full control. Where do we stand on this team? Because it is a vital part of what we're doing here.
It is a vital part, and what we approved yesterday at council was to look at all options. So it's not necessarily under the city. It's to look at all options. It could be with an existing community organization, but you're absolutely right. It is a vital component to our outreach and to connecting with folks that we need to help who may be living rough in our streets.
Just how difficult is this challenge?
It's extremely difficult. It's complex. You know, there's so many factors to consider, but I think that we're taking good steps. We had additional significant increase in funding for warming spaces this winter, which is, again, this isn't a solution, but it's something that we need given that we have very, very cold months here in Regina. And then our encampment response, a more coordinated approach, a more compassionate approach, where as opposed to moving people along when we don't have somewhere for them to go, we're first connecting with folks, trying to help folks navigate to the services that they may need.
Is it challenging too because it's not just a city issue, it's a provincial and a federal government issue as well?
Absolutely. We need all levels of government to help us and to participate in funding resources. At the end of the day, the provincial responsibility lies in that supportive housing model and the addiction support and treatment centers. Those are things that we need their support on. So those are constant conversations that I've been having, and I'm hopeful that we're going to continue to see additional funding come out from the province to help fund the plan that we have in place to try and help people get to the help that they need.
What's the response been to the housing project? You're trying to get more homes in different places. Glen Elm's been dealing with the situation for a long, long time. They say they should be able to buy a lot in any part of the city and put a mobile home or whatever kind of home they want on it. And I know there are people in some neighborhoods that are saying, not in my neighborhood, no.
So what we approved yesterday, pending 1/3 reading of the bylaw, is manufactured homes. And so I've told a lot of folks this is, take a look at those manufactured homes that you can buy today. You put that on a lot in the city, you wouldn't notice the difference. I mean, these are essentially just pre-constructed homes. And what it is, it's another option for builders. It's another option for homeowners looking to look at an option that may be more affordable. If it's something where you don't feel you need a basement, you could just put a foundation on a lot and then put one of these homes on top of that. So, and again, the market will also dictate what kinds of homes would go in different areas, because lots cost different, have different prices in different areas of the city.
It's interesting because in some U.S. states they're having the same conversation, but it's not pre-constructed homes, it's 3D printed homes, which is a very interesting conversation.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about something fun. On December 2nd, we are going to light the lights of City Hall and get to the Christmas spirit. How much do you look forward to events like that? Because it's a more uplifting, more fun thing to do.
It's an incredible event. I mean, we've got hot chocolate, we've got activities. Santa will be usually in council chambers, which is great. It's just a great community event for all of council to come together and invite our community in and just spend some time around the holiday season to enjoy each other.
And have some uplifting conversations, I imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always a great opportunity to connect with the community, have some good conversations about how people are feeling, and and just get together in a happy, happy environment for everybody.
And somehow we keep getting the invite to MC that event, which will be a lot of fun. December 2nd, we'll see you there. Here's what's happening in our community. Christmas in November, specifically on September 22nd. It's a Saturday, starts at 10 a.m. 125 3rd Avenue North in Yorkton. There's a bake sale and raffle involved. 16th Annual Lions Craft Sale, Sunday, November 23rd, starts at 11 a.m. This is happening at the Boreen Community Center out in Esterhazy. Pierogi and Meatballs Fall Supper happens Sunday, November 23rd at 5 p.m. out in Sturgis at the Grace United Church. Call 306-547-7068. If you'd like your event shown here, simple. All you got to do is email us, reginacommunity@bellmedia.ca, at least 2 weeks in advance.
Wardrobe consideration by Colin O'Brien Man's Shop, defining contemporary style for over 20 years.
A collective sigh of relief on Bay and Wall Streets after NVIDIA delivered a surprisingly strong revenue forecast and pushed back on the idea that the AI industry is in a bubble, easing concerns that had spread across the tech sector. The world's most valuable company expects sales of about $65 billion in the January quarter, roughly $3 billion more than analysts predicted. NVIDIA also said that a $500 billion revenue bonanza due in coming quarters may be even bigger than anticipated. Well, Canada is going to start negotiations with the UAE on a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. It would cut tariffs, remove trade barriers, and expand market access to Canadian exporters while helping facilitate UAE investment into major projects in Canada, including data centers and critical minerals. The UAE is one of Canada's top trading partners in the Middle East and Northern Africa. Prime Minister Mark Carney has been pushing to strengthen ties around the world as part of the trade war with the U.S. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
It's It's November 20th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We're starting off with a belated birthday wish going out to Zane. He marked his 14th birthday yesterday, and his mom, dad, Tyvin, and Willow are all sending him so much love. And a big happy birthday going out to Melody for her 5th birthday. Her grandma and grandpa want to wish her a very happy day and a great year ahead. Enjoy. Happy birthday wishes also going out to Joan today for her 70th birthday. We're told she's the best mom, baba, sister, and aunt. We hope you enjoyed your special day in Puerto Vallarta. And finally, a big happy birthday going out to Grandma Barb's. We hope your day is super special with lots of love from your Morin family. Enjoy your day. If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least one day in advance.
All right, due to a bet we made yesterday, I'm about to profess my love, this time in the 60s. What do we got here? My dearest, you've taken up residence in my thought and in my heart. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, dude. That was nice.
Yeah.
Keep that going, by the way. I think you can do better, but you can keep it going. Keep it going.
I could.
Yeah,
I wanted to tone it down a little.
Hey, we got a chance for you to win my love and admiration. We're playing for Pride Night Prize coming up just before 9 o'clock. Our useless question of the day. I love this question because it is the time of the year where maybe you want to, buy stuff for your loved ones or buy stuff for yourself. This particular item, the sales are up 60% in the last 10 years. From 10 years ago, this exact product is selling through the roof. What do you think it is? Hit us up at 54321, or you can call 306-936-0927. Again, sales of these are up 60% in the last 10 years. What do you got?
Brandon Hall signed 8x10s, and you can get one tonight at the Rail Yard Saloon. I assume you're going to be there for the big launch.
I am. You too? You're hosting, I think, right?
They gave me a microphone for some reason. I don't get invited anywhere unless I speak.
That's so true. Hey, if you can't get that headshot, screenshot this right now, and then I'll sign it later.
There you go. Perfect. I will do that.
It was Lainey Wilson's big night in Nashville at country music's biggest night.
I was just so tickled to be here hosting this thing tonight. I just came into here just wanting to celebrate country music.
Not only did she host the 59th annual CMA Awards on ABC, but took home awards for Entertainer of the Year, Album of the Year, and Female Vocalist of the Year.
Mr. Vince Gill.
Vince Gill was honored with the Willie Nelson Lifetime Achievement Award.
This is amazing. I might be in the history of this award. I think it's been given to maybe 10 people, 9 or 10 people, something like that. And that list of people is astounding.
Mick Jagger made a surprise visit to his old UK grammar school in Dartford. 25 years ago, he turned it into the Mick Jagger Center to help inspire music to young people. The 82-year-old Rolling Stones frontman spent the day thanking teachers and students. The Oscars are still months away, but AARP is already rolling out its picks for the best movies of the year. Nominees for Best Picture in the annual Movies for Grown-Ups Awards, as AARP calls it, are Hamnet, A House of Dynamite, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. George Clooney, Leonardo DiCaprio, Laura Dern, and Jodie Foster are all up in the acting categories. And happy birthday to Bo Derek, the model-turned-actress shot to fame in Blake Edwards' 1979 romantic comedy 10. Bo Derek turns 68 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
All right, well, ladies, does your purse look like this? Pulling out all sorts of stuff from her purse, all the essentials, basically. A toy, a wrench.
A toy gun.
Yeah. Makeup, and of course, a favorite stuffy.
She must be in New York.
Yeah. This is such...
She's set.
She's so stylish.
She's a vibe. She's a whole vibe.
I love it.
Now to a dad who's just trying to get through story time.
Nay, nay, said the horse. Want to go for a ride?
this morning.
He barely breathes. His dad said he was so winded after trying to read the book, after trying to wrangle his feral toddler for 45 minutes beforehand. The worst part is knowing that he's not allowed to skip any pages.
Oh,
that is the hard part.
Yeah.
Daddy, you skipped a page. You missed one.
No, you know what the worst part is? When they break the book that is their favorite, because my daughter recently just tore apart the Very Hungry Caterpillar's ABCs, and that's the best one. And now she brings me the broken pieces and just like read. She sits down and I'm like, we can't. I need so much glue.
Well, if only there were an establishment where you could get another copy, say across the street.
I don't know.
Time out. Your morning continues in just a minute. It's Thursday, November 20th. New this morning, Prime Minister Mark Carney has signed a new foreign investment agreement in Abu Dhabi, advancing trade with the United Arab Emirates.
Wedding is also accused of murdering a federal witness.
Authorities are making a new push to find and arrest an alleged drug lord.
Everything's just been really cool these last couple days, so but we know business is business. We just hope it continues to be family business.
Fresh off that Grey Cup win and the parade, it's back to business for your Rough Riders. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Saskatchewan, I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Happy Thursday. Daryl, question for you. Do you have anybody like a certain radio personality that you'd like to profess your love for?
We bet on the Entertainer of the Year yesterday, and now I have to once an hour profess my love for Brandon Hall. I'm going to save it for later in the hour, but thank you. I will.
I will keep reminding you. Don't worry. I won't let you forget about that one.
Thank you.
I owe that to Brandon.
We're doing the headliners tonight at the Rail Yard Saloon, so come join us and we'll find out who's going to be there this year. It's going to be exciting. Let's get to news. We'll get to Kayleen and her weather and all my love professing later. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Abu Dhabi this morning, where he signed an investment protection agreement with the United Arab Emirates. The Prime Minister is also launching talks for a full trade deal alongside UAE's president. The talks are aimed at an eventual comprehensive economic partnership agreement. This morning, Carney also toured through an ornate grand mosque, which he described as an inspiring way of showcasing materials and knowledge from around the world.
Apart from the sheer beauty and the inspiration that it provides, it unifies in so many different ways.
Carney's visit comes a month after the two countries signed an agreement to boost collaboration on artificial intelligence and data centers. A trade agreement has been reached between the provinces, territories, and the federal government that will bring down trade barriers within Canada. British Columbia's Minister of Jobs and Economic Growth announced the agreement, saying it marks the largest red tape reduction in Canadian history. Basically, the agreement boils down to this: if a good can be sold legally in one province or territory, it can be sold without any extra rules or approvals.
It means more choices, competitive pricing, and some same trusted standards across the country. And for global investors and companies, we're talking about ease of doing business, reliable and high sustainable standards, and integrated supply chains.
The agreement, which will take effect next month, applies to thousands of products. However, it does exclude food, beverages, tobacco, plants, and animals. Premier Scott Moe is back from Washington, D.C., where he met with U.S. officials to talk trade tariffs and protecting Saskatchewan jobs. He says $40 billion in imports and exports cross the border every year, and Saskatchewan products like oil, potash, and canola help lower costs for Americans.
Specifically, grocery prices in the U.S. are increasing, and Saskatchewan has a role to play in that. And so I view it as a positive from our province's perspective, because it would lend credence to the reason to not put tariffs on some of the products that we're sending to the United States of America.
The Premier says it's important to keep trade channels open to protect jobs and support both economies. Fire investigators will work to determine the cause of an overnight house fire in Regina on the 1000 block of Wascana Street. There's a picture on your screen. Happened just after 2 o'clock this morning. The firefighters arrived to heavy smoke coming from the upstairs windows. It was quickly brought under control. The lone occupant did get out safely. No injuries reported, but the cause remains under investigation. Let's go to Jeremy Dodge, who's been tracking a Saskatoon court case. Jeremy, over to you. Good morning.
Thank you, Daryl. Good morning. Saskatoon judge has ruled on a case in the city and has ruled that there are too many unanswered questions around the death of a Saskatoon man almost 3 years ago to convict 2 people of murder. It was August of 2022. James Swift and a woman found injured near Penner Road, just outside Saskatoon. Ashton Ritson and Colton Lischka were charged with second-degree murder in Swift's death and attempted murder in the stabbing of the woman. In a written decision released earlier this month, the judge said there were too many holes in the story because of alcohol and drugs, and it wasn't proven beyond a reasonable doubt who did the stabbing. The judge instead ruling the 2 were guilty of manslaughter in Swift's death and aggravated assault for the attack on the woman. A third man, Anthony Burley, pleaded guilty to being an accessory to manslaughter earlier this year and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. The fate of a massage therapist accused of sexual assault is now in the hands of a jury. 69-year-old Kenneth Braun facing 6 charges of sexual assault. The evidence presented during his trial is under a publication ban so as not to interfere with a future court date. But a judge spent more than 3 hours yesterday giving careful instructions and considerations to the 12-person jury, and they are now deliberating. Daryl, Saskatchewan drivers gearing up for winter in a new way.
Yeah, settling into winter road conditions, more drivers are turning apparently to dashboard cameras. Laura Woodward with why.
A meteor over Saskatoon last week, a near miss between an SUV and a city bus in March, and a van catching fire in a parking lot last December, all recorded on dash cams.
Dash cams have become sort of almost a regular accessory now for cars. You know, it's almost standard that most people get one.
Dash cams can help with security and insurance claims, capturing moments like this crash on the University Bridge last month, which quickly circulated online. Retail analyst Bruce Winter says social media is a driving force behind dash cam sales.
People share all kinds of videos, and those videos might not even be in Canada, but suddenly people are nervous about it. They see the social video, they think, my God, I don't want to, I don't want someone to back into me on the street and then try to extort me, or I don't want someone pretending to jump on my hood like I hit them. I need proof. Or the other thing too is road rage.
A report from market research firm Grandview Horizon suggests the dashcam market in Canada is growing by about 9% a year, with revenue expected to hit $258 million by 2030.
We have seen a big demand for this.
Best Buy is also noticing the trend, with more customers looking for dash cams, especially models with parking mode, which keeps the camera rolling even when the car isn't.
It records and then sends you an alert if there was a bump in your car, if there was any hit and run is another case where customers do choose that option.
And with winter just getting started, he expects the demand to keep climbing. Laurel Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
After 2 rounds of major project announcements without an Alberta component, sources tell CTV News that the province and Ottawa are days away from announcing a memorandum of understanding for a pipeline project. Danielle Smith's office releasing a statement today that it's in the final stages of a pipeline deal with Ottawa and will have more to say soon. The pipeline would connect to Northwest BC, a project that BC's premier has long opposed. Questions remain over whether or not we've seen the final down from Saskatchewan Roughriders quarterback Trevor Harris.
I love Trevor, man, and I've been very vocal about that, and I'm not going to start mincing my words now, but I love him enough to respect any time that he may need to make that decision for himself and his family. He has an amazing family, man, an amazing supporting cast at his house, and I know that what they feel is super important to Trevor, and it's super important to us. So, but if he says, "Hey, I want to play," well, that's I'd like us to try to do everything to make sure it's in the green and white.
Trevor Harris is now 39, just won the Grey Cup in a season where he passed for over 4,500 yards and 24 touchdowns. He's going to take some time before making a decision. Riders GM Jeremy O'Day is expected to speak with media next week. A Saskatchewan artist is sharing in the celebration of the Riders' Grey Cup win. Chris Chapek created this piece of artwork featuring the Grey Cup with a feather, the sun, and a bison. Chapek, who is from the Red Pheasant Cree Nation, is now living in Saskatoon, says this piece is a celebration bringing everything full circle, appreciating that we all celebrate the victory as a province. Our attention turns to the Weather Center and Kayleen Sawatsky. Good morning.
Good morning, and it is really a good morning across the province today. We're not seeing all those issues on those roads that we saw yesterday, including the fog and those flurries, that freezing rain. Today, things are looking rather clear. We're going to be seeing a lot of sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures a little bit lower, but that's okay. We've been above that seasonal average for so long. It's time for these temperatures to cool down just a little bit. -9 right now to wake us up in Regina. A few more clouds than what we saw earlier on this morning. The sun finally now starting to come up in Saskatoon. We're at -12 right now with some clear skies and very low winds to start the day. Radar and satellite showing that Alberta is seeing some of that fog this morning. They're actually under a dense fog advisory in some parts of that central zone there. In Saskatchewan this morning, we're really not seeing a whole lot on the radar or the futurecast. A lot more clouds way up to the north. Just the tiniest little patch that you can see on your screen there. Northeast of Prince Albert getting a little bit of flurries this morning. Other than that, we're looking very clear from the precipitation this afternoon. Clouds are going to be clearing as we make our way into the later parts of the afternoon, and then as we look towards tomorrow into Friday early morning, we see some more of those clouds returning, tracking down towards the south, and then some precipitation moving through the northern part for the most part, and then some down through Prince Albert into Friday afternoon. It's going to start earlier on in the afternoon, but what you're looking at on your screen right now is about 5:15 p.m. Prince Albert could be seeing some of that freezing rain throughout the mid-afternoon. Current temperatures now, we're seeing Spiritwood at -7, cooler through Prince Albert this morning at -10, -6 in Hudson Bay. Down towards the south, we're seeing -6 in East End, -5 in Moose Jaw, and -7 to wake us up in Estevan. Now, later on this afternoon, we will be seeing some cooler temperatures throughout the central zone, so including Battleford's only reaching -4, Saskatoon -2, and Prince Albert -3. So although there's some areas that are not going to be seeing those positive integers today, we're looking down towards those south for those warmer temperatures. Swift Current up to 6 degrees, Weyburn up to 5, and Estevan up to 4 degrees with that sunshine. Some more snow on the way for Regina into early next week. So Monday, we're going to start seeing those flurries in the late afternoon, and then it's going to continue on into the overnight hours into Tuesday morning, and then pushing away for Tuesday afternoon. In Saskatoon, we're likely to be seeing some freezing rain on Saturday morning. Not the best morning for a long drive, but 3 degrees, so temperatures going back up into the positives. 3 degrees on Sunday, and then some flurries again on Monday afternoon.
Very appropriate. November 20th, 1965, the Vanier Cup was won for the first time by the University of Toronto Varsity Blues. And this weekend, it'll be the U of S Huskies, as you know, taking on the Carabins de Montréal at Mosaic Stadium in Regina. November 20th, 1947, the future Queen Elizabeth II married Prince Philip in Westminster Abbey. And November 20th, 1919, Ottawa announced the official formation of the new RCMP.
In case you missed it, it's time for our daily dose of robots. The highlight of mealtime for this senior isn't always the food.
They love watching me eat, and they comment on whether the spoon's working properly, whether it's too full or whether it took too big a bite.
This one might actually be okay. Audrey lives at long-term care home in Victoria, and she eats with help from a tool she calls Edward the Eater. It is a robot feeding arm, as recommended by her occupational therapists. Audrey loves it because it gives her back some of her independence. See? Robots aren't all bad.
See,
This one, yes.
This makes sense.
Yes, this one does make sense.
The ones playing soccer do not make sense.
Yes, the ones that are driving the race cars seem like a waste of money. But this one, this is what the advancements in technology are for.
We've been waiting for this. This is a good one. All right, let's go to our question of the day. We are talking about Country Thunder Saskatchewan. The official launch party is tonight, where we find out the headliners.
Yes, so a lot of excitement surrounding this. We're asking you today, who would you like to see at Country Thunder in 2026? A few more answers on our screen from last hour. We have this answer on X saying Brothers Osborne. Another answer on our text line saying I'd love to see Cody Johnson or Zach Top. Some good answers there. Daphne writing in saying I would love to see Post Malone, Jelly Roll, Lainey Wilson, George Strait, or Dolly Parton. I know Dolly's not making a lot of public appearances right now through some health battles, but oh my goodness, what a bucket list item to
She just released a meal, didn't she?
Yeah, a
the
new
other day?
freezer meal. Yeah, so she has other things on the go right now. We also had this answer, kind of took away from the plot a little bit. This kind of went to Grey Cup, but you know what? I wanted to put it up anyways because, as you both know, I'm a big Chapel Roan fan.
Of course.
And so if I get an answer in my inbox that says anything about Chapel Roan, I'm going to put it up. Also saying Drake there.
Okay.
We had a few more answers, giving love to Lainey Wilson. This from Fresca and Michelle B. A lot of Lainey Wilson fans in Saskatchewan. And then, of course, a lot of love for Garth Brooks and a lot of love for George Strait. So thank you so much for answering today's question of the day. We're going to know later on today who's actually headlining.
Canadian adults are getting poor grades when it comes to physical activity. A new report from Participaction highlights where we can improve. Allison Bamford has the details.
Every step counts for Tennille LaFontaine when trying to squeeze exercise into her busy schedule.
I know as a parent that our kids are looking up to us to make sure that we're modeling these good behaviors, and I know that I'm not getting as much as my kids even are.
The mother of 3 isn't alone. Participaction's new adult report card gives Canadians a C-, with less than half meeting physical activity guidelines.
A large majority have indicated that they have the desire to be physically active, but it's getting them past that intention and turning that into action that's the difficult part.
But it does take strength and stamina.
Hal Johnson has spent his career pushing people to move, but as co-host of Canada's Body Break, he's not seeing everyone practice what he's preached.
Society has changed to be less active. You can do a lot more things simply by your phone than you could ever do before. You'd have to get up.
Physical inactivity costs the healthcare system nearly $4 billion annually, according to the report. Advocates want all levels of government to promote fitness and remove financial barriers.
You take care of yourself now so that you can do things in the future.
And LaFontaine hopes to walk the same path she wants her own children to tread.
My generation as a kid growing up, being healthy meant diet culture and being skinny, whereas now being healthy means being active and being strong. So those are messages that I want to model.
As for Canadians who want to improve their grades in physical activity, experts say even a brisk walk can count towards heart-pumping minutes, and steps taken during a light stroll, house cleaning, or grocery shopping all add up. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Health Report, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Blue Cross, protecting your health since 1946.
It has been all Vanier all morning for Mike Siona. He joins us one last time before the big game. Mike.
Well, here we are, just hours away now from the Vanier Cup with Scott Flory, the head coach of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, all set to head down to Regina. Kickoff is Saturday at 1 o'clock at Mosaic Stadium. Talk about the excitement of your team.
Yeah, no, there's a level of excitement, but I think there's a bigger thing. We're looking at a level of focus and a level of determination. You know, in this group, this is a special group of kids. You know, the veteran leadership here on this group, you know, you're talking about 22-year-old, 23-year-old young men that it's been exceptional. I'm really proud of this group, man. The level of resiliency and just with everything that's happened this year, the guys just keep plugging away, keep playing, and really proud of them. We got one more. We got a few more days to together as a group, and 3 hours of football that are going to be fantastic.
Now, it is the University of Saskatchewan, obviously situated and campused here in Saskatoon. But what would it mean for the whole province to get out there and show that support for you guys in the stands?
Well, I think you just look, you look at what happened there last Sunday, obviously with Saskatchewan, with the Rough Riders, and just the buy-in with the whole province and what it means. We are the institution of the province, the University of Saskatchewan, not Saskatoon, and yeah, this program's been around for over 100 years. So, there's a pride there. There's a level of like I said, pride and just everything that goes into it. There's a big alumni group. There's not only within football but within the greater university. So the level of support that we get here is phenomenal. And I'm not saying that that's not a piece of the fuel, but it's a piece of it. Our guys, it's not lost on our guys the level of importance that this game has.
Fantastic. Well, I know you guys have been knocking on the door here to get to that point in an appropriate spot for us here inside the University of Saskatchewan Huskies clubhouse, right in front of the Vanier Cup itself, the mural up there. And, well, we'll see. Good luck on the weekend, Coach.
Appreciate it.
You are listening to Born and Raised by the pride of Shaunavon, Saskatchewan, the Hunter Brothers. They're back with new music and bringing it to a stage near you. The album is all kinds of country. The tour is Homegrown Nights, and it'll be in Yorkton November 23rd, Regina November 27th, Lloydminster on the 29th, and Saskatoon on the 30th. And through the magic of televisions, we got 4/5 of the Hunter Brothers. Welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much for having us. Wow, you rattled off those dates like nobody's business. Well done.
Almost like I had them on a screen in front of me. Brock, we'll start with you because we never do. Brock, what does it mean to you to tour Saskatchewan and bring this new album, this new tour to town?
Oh, it is always such an honor to be able to play close to home. I mean, you spend a lot of time on the road, and any time that you can be in your home province, and you end up having people from your hometown and people from the surrounding area come out to the shows, and it's always really special. So,
Ty, this collection of songs, how special is it? What do you want people to take away from it?
Yeah, I think this group of songs is, some of it is close to the heart of what we typically do, and then we did explore some different sounds. We have a lot of fiddle in the project. We did some writing closer to the beginning of the year in Nashville, and yeah, we have some personal narratives in there. We have a cover, we have 2 collaborations, we have different sonic explorations, so I think it's just a hybrid of a bunch of different things, but still classic Hunter Brothers.
Luke, why do I feel like you picked the covers?
No, I'm not taking responsibility for that one.
People keep coming back to your tour every time you come to town. They pack the crowd, and you got to bring something different. How did you switch it up this time?
Well, I think there's still the familiarity of a high energetic show, lots of harmonies, and we wanted to have fun with the show, as we typically like to have fun on stage and bring the energy and, hopefully a backflip or two. But also with this particular tour, we wanted to explore a little bit of the day in the life of the Hunter Brothers and what that looks like. And so the way that it's crafted is meant to make you feel like it takes you back to your story and your hometown, and we're sharing a bit of ours as well. So I think there's nuances that are a little bit different, and we try to shift some things up while still keeping those, staple elements the same as well.
There's only one Hunter brother that hasn't spoken yet, and he's the one that drives the bus. You should probably have let him go first there, Ty. He's got to get you safely there. How do you keep these guys in line?
I'm assuming you're talking to me.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I do drive the bus. Sometimes. We actually take turns. We try to take turns. I do try to keep them safe when it's my responsibility. I, kind of want to get there safe and sound, or for my wife's sake, for their wives' sake. So, what was the question again?
How do you keep these hooligans in line?
Oh, you are the oldest one in the room right now. You are the elder. You are the seasoned veteran at this time.
Just proved how old he is. Through fear and regular beatdowns.
Fair enough. Gentlemen, good luck. We wish you all of the successes we always do. We got to remind people at home where they can see you. That is Yorkton on the 23rd, Regina the 27th, Lloydminster the 29th, and Saskatoon on the 30th. Homegrown Nights. Get your tickets wherever tickets are sold.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Wednesday, Ani. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. And we begin with this. City Council crunching the numbers in Prince Albert this week as budget deliberations get underway. Jasmine Peltier on the discussions so far.
On Wednesday morning, the City of Prince Albert Budget Committee began deliberations on the 2026 City General Fund budget. The initial proposal shows a $7 million increase in revenue from the 2025 budget, with a $6 million increase in expenses. Several councillors voiced concerns from residents about the proposed budget's impact on property tax, as it includes $4.4 million in additional funding from taxation.
It's to find that base budget so that we're not hurting the taxpayers with too many increases all the time and these huge jumps. We want to be kind of a flat moving forward.
The committee debated which projects must be completed this year and which ones could be completed on a looser timeline. The city manager says one significant expense, the new Lake Country Co-op Leisure Centre, has not had an impact when it comes to evaluating property tax. Annual financing payments on the centre are not funded by taxation, but through the Recreation Reserve. The funding plan relies on fundraising, grants, loans, and projected tax revenue from new businesses in the developing Yard District. On day one of budget discussions, the Budget Committee approved $4 million in financing payments to 3 separate loans on the Leisure Centre. Around $60 million remains to be paid on the facility, with the final loan payment due in 2058. By Wednesday afternoon, the committee had adjusted the proposed budget to save $125,000 in taxation and $100,000 in reserve funds. The budget is scheduled for further discussion Thursday and Friday. Jasmine Peltier, CTV News, Prince Albert.
From one council to another, Regina City councillors heard from several delegates asking to keep Regina's street team as is. Several delegates say they don't want the program to become solely the city's responsibility, but the city is proposing its own well-being and homelessness group and have set aside more than $1 million in its budget in its plan to end homelessness and encampment response. Council also approved plans to build a multi-family residential building earlier this month, replacing Canadian Blood Services on Broad Street and Broadway Avenue, along with permitting manufactured homes citywide.
I think it's a good sign that they are supporting development. We have the official community plan that targets residential infill at 30%, and a unanimous vote shows that the council is supporting that, and so I think it's great.
Current building will soon be demolished with construction planned for spring of 2026. We spoke to the mayor on CTV Regina and Yorkton. You can find that right now on our website. If you're looking at getting a new set of tires, you might be paying a little bit more for tire recycling. Saskatchewan's NDP opposition is calling attention to the issue this week, with Tire Stewardship Saskatchewan set to raise its tire recycling fees. The fees help the independent, not-for-profit organization pay for scrap tire recycling. The money does not go to the province. The NDP is calling for the province to step in and scrap the increase, linking the incoming jump to changes in who processes scrap tires here.
And now we see the Sask party turning around, as they always do, and downloading the costs of their own mismanagement onto drivers and taxpayers in Saskatchewan.
For most vehicles, the previous fees were either $5 or $14 per tire, with higher fees for heavy-duty or industrial tires. That means a 30% increase would amount to about $1.50 for consumers. A drug alert has been issued for Regina due to a number of suspected overdoses, a high number of them. According to Regina Fire and Protective Services, some of those who bought drugs believed they were getting crystal meth. Instead, they were getting a drug containing fentanyl and other unknown opioids, creating a high risk of overdose, unconsciousness, and cardiac arrest. Officials emphasize all illegal drugs can pose serious health risks. The Meadow Lake Tribal Council is demanding urgent action from the government to fix what they call an urgent public safety crisis in their community. Officials from the 9 First Nations that make up the Meadow Lake Tribal Council gathered in Saskatoon for meetings Wednesday. They're calling for action to fix a chaotic situation that has only gotten worse, they say, in the last 10 years. They say it's a result of drugs and gangs without police detachments on First Nations. The Vice Chief says it can take up to 90 minutes for a response.
We have communities that hold 2,000 people in these communities. Do we have people in southern Saskatchewan without that service? Why is it in northern Saskatchewan and First Nations people, we have 2,000 people and there's not a police force there?
Leaders say they want meetings with both levels of government to try to solve the issue. It's a video that has people shaking their heads, especially in the hockey community. Two coaches in a local minor hockey game in Windsor, Ontario, ended up fighting mid-game. Take a look at your screen. The incident was captured on camera. It shows two coaches brawling on the ice at a U13 game. U13. The Ontario Minor Hockey Association tells CTV News that the incident is under investigation and that all bench staff from both teams are suspended indefinitely. And reaction from the hockey community, of course, has been swift.
It's just horrifying when kids have to witness that. You know, you know, people that you trust to you know, to do the right thing. When you're at the rink, when they go sideways like that, it has a damaging effect on our kids, and you know, people have to be more aware of that.
In a statement, the Ontario Minor Hockey Association says incidents like this have no place in minor hockey and don't reflect the organization's values. Spokane Chiefs topped the Regina Pats in the first stop of their U.S. road trip.
It's blocked. Now it's Harris from behind the net. Tried to wrap it around out front. Comes to Burkhardt. Fires shot. He scores!
Chiefs built up a 2-goal lead and were able to hold on for a 3-2 win. Pats back in action in Tri-City on Friday. Let's turn our attention to the Weather Center. Yesterday, we couldn't see the Skycam in behind Kayleen Sawatsky. Today, nice and clear.
Yeah, nice and clear, and we're not really seeing that precipitation through the central zone either, so your commute going to be a lot more pleasant than what we saw yesterday. I know my husband was texting me as he was driving my daughter to daycare saying it is impossible. Also, don't text while drive. He used his Siri, folks. -9 to wake us up in Regina. Southwest winds coming in at 11 kilometers per hour. -12 to wake us up in Saskatoon. Clear skies there, and again, seeing some very calm winds to start the day. Now, radar and satellite, we're seeing that Alberta has that dense fog advisory, and we're not seeing that again through Saskatchewan this morning. We are seeing on the futurecast just a little bit those patches of the snow just northeast of Prince Albert there. That's going to be clearing throughout the afternoon hours today, and we're also going to be seeing a lot of those clouds clear throughout the afternoon, so we are going to be seeing that sun shining all afternoon long in many places across the province today. Really nice to see after a few of those gray and gloomy days. Now we are seeing some more precipitation making its way into the province for Friday. It's going to start earlier on in the afternoon, but what you're seeing on your screen right now is at about 5:30 p.m. when Prince Albert could be seeing some of that freezing rain. Saskatoon looking like we're going to be missing out on that for the Friday portion of this system, but then we are going to be seeing a little bit more of that freezing rain in Saskatoon starting on Saturday morning. Current temperatures now we're seeing -8 in Buffalo Narrows, -6 in South End, -7 in Nipawin, -8 in Melfort, -5 in Moose Jaw, -7 to wake us up in Estevan, and -6 in East End. Today's forecast, though, we're seeing some nicer temperatures down towards the south where we're seeing that sunshine. Throughout the central zones and northern zones, there are some places where we're not even going to be seeing those positive temperatures today. So the Battleford's up to -3 with the mix of sun and cloud. Yorkton up to 2, though. Moose Jaw up to 5 degrees, and then down in that southeast corner, Estevan and Weyburn up to 5 degrees this afternoon. Now, the 7-day forecast showing the weekend is going to be rather beautiful. A mix of sun and cloud for Saturday and Sunday in Regina. High of 5 degrees, and then dropping down slightly on Monday as that snow begins for the south part of the province. 3 degrees, though, and the flurries are going to be starting a little bit later on in the afternoon, continuing into those overnight hours, and then continuing into Tuesday morning, pushing off for the afternoon. But it's going to be cooler on that day. -5, and then dropping down to -7 on Wednesday with that mix of sun and cloud. We talked about that freezing rain that's on the way for Saturday morning. That's not going to be impacting us all afternoon long in Saskatoon. It's just really going to be the morning according to our forecast right now. 3 degrees on that day, and some more flurries moving in for Monday afternoon.
Yes, indeed. Looking back at
50 years of trauma. And if you're not necessarily familiar with this production company, you are with their films. Their films include The Toxic Avenger, Nukem High, Tromeo and Juliet, and the list goes on and on. One of my personal favorites, Surf Nazis Must Die. And the person behind these motion pictures is with us today, Lloyd Kaufman, who will be coming to the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival, joining us now. So first of all, thanks for speaking with us today.
Well, my pleasure. Saskatoon is it's the Paris of North America.
Well, we always love to hear that, and thank you for saying so. You know, for some people who aren't familiar, as I said, I mentioned some of the titles there that are familiar to many of our viewers. Let's talk a little bit about what makes a trauma film. Are there certain things that have to be in every trauma movie?
Well, trauma makes art, and we have a huge footprint on the countryside of the art world. James Gunn, Mr. Superman, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, South Park, Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know what happened to him, but he's terrific in our movie Death by Temptation. I could go on and on. I think the trauma movies come from the heart and soul and the brain of the filmmaker, and they reflect the times we live in. They all have one foot in a serious political or sociological issue. The Toxic Avenger was the environment, and we did it in 1984, which was before Al Gore got a Nobel Peace Prize, which he probably didn't deserve. The other two guys should have had the Nobel Peace Prize. And maybe they shared it, who knows.
One last thing, you're a Yale man, you're an Ivy Leaguer. Was this the dream? Were you always thinking of getting into movies when you started your Ivy League education, or what were you supposed to become?
No, I was going to go into teaching or social work. I was going to do something useful, make a difference. But I went to Yale, and I got roomed freshman year with a movie nut who ran the Yale Film Society, and they were auteur theorists. So I got brainwashed by the auteur theory of filmmaking, which propounds that the director should be the auteur, the author of the movie in his heart. The director there. I say I'm using the wrong pronoun. Their heart, soul, and brain should be what the film expresses. And indeed, that is true of what Michael Hers and I have done for 52 years. But we're deep in the weeds of the underground, and we're very grateful to Joni Mitchell and the Saskatoon population for inviting me to Saskatoon. And thank you for your time on the air.
Very happy to do it, and I know that one of your films is inspired by The Tempest, and so let me simply say from one of the characters in that play, lead monster will follow. And we have been following you and trauma for over 50 years, so thank you so much, Lloyd. We're looking forward to having you here in Saskatoon for the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival.
Well, when you blow your nose, blow it in the Redneck Zombies official redneck kerchief or handkerchief.
I will for sure. All right. Thanks, Lloyd. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Best wishes.
But I keep coming back like a revolving door. Said I don't want you less, but I just want you more. So I keep coming back. We dreaming hard, we came so far now. I believe we're going up and down. The way you got me all in my head. Think I'd rather you in my bed.
Welcome to a championship edition of X's and O's with Wes Cates. Wes, the Riders winning their 5th title in franchise history. And there were a lot of big plays that led to that victory, more so the big one, the Shea Patterson fumble led by Tavon Campbell, knocking the ball out. Marcus Sales recovering it on the goal line. That really was the turning point in this game. But in general, how did the Riders win this game in your mind?
You know, I think they kind of had a good game plan, kind of
stuck to what was working. I think they got the offensive line and A.J. Ouellette involved early. They really didn't go down the field with the passing game. They really dinked and dunked and screen gamed. You know, Montreal, they get them running around, get them chasing, and then once, you know, they kind of established the run, then I think they went to the air and kind of let Trevor Harris do his thing. And I was hoping they kind of went with that approach, because the run game has been going well. And I also wanted to see Trevor be able to put his stamp on it. So too bad he didn't get a touchdown out of the bunch, but Tommy Stevens played a big role. Obviously, the defense with those timely turnovers, you know, Sales gets a pick early on a ball that could have went for 6, and then also Campbell getting a pick, and them two being involved in that turnover on the goal line. So it was just an all-around great team game.
Now, something you mentioned was having 4 Americans on the offensive line. Logan Ferland was the only Canadian. They're allowed to do that because they had 4 starting Canadian receivers. A.J. Allen as a ratio breaker at linebacker, and Tavon Campbell in the secondary. They only needed 1 more Canadian, which ended up in Ferland. And you could see the difference. The holes that A.J. Ouellette was seeing, there were some massive holes against a pretty good Montreal Alouette defense. And you're saying you're kind of surprised maybe that, could that be a trend now? Maybe that look for the Canadian receivers and try to boost up that offensive line?
Well, I definitely think that there's a trick between getting Americans up here at all positions, but definitely at O-line. You know, it's hard to teach size. So I think that Jeremy O'Day has done a great job of enticing American O-linemen to come up here that are quality linemen. Obviously, if you can find great Canadians at the O-line, which they're out there, but they're a little more few and far between. Ferland is you know, diamond in the rough. And I think him being at that center spot and then being able to lean on those American O-linemen that have kind of done more of that ground and pound that you get from the States definitely help with the run game. And then obviously the fact that we have those Canadian receivers that are all studs and capable of playing at a high level. And so, you know, I think Sam Emilus could be the best receiver in the league. And there's a lot of other Canadians that are just really starting to sprout on this roster. So you think of some of the youth that there is at Canadian receiver, the way that Jeremy O'Day was able to tweak this roster with Corey Mace to put that type of skill set out there. And really, I mean, for the most part, dominated that game. Montreal did a great job of battling back and making it interesting. And yeah, that's just kind of the way it goes. There's some great management by the Riders this year.
Yeah, and you got to give it to Jeremy O'Day. He was on a hot seat a couple of years ago, but you look at all the Canadians that they had out there. Samuel Emilus, draft pick. Keen Schaefer-Baker, draft pick. Ajoajo, draft pick. A.J. Allen, ratio breaker, a draft pick. And Tavon Campbell, I know he was a free agent, but he wasn't on a lot of radars. Nobody was thinking about that move, and then he pulled that off and was able to get an experienced corner. So you got to give him credit. So he did a fantastic job this year. But what is he looking at next year now? Because now that the parade's over, it's thinking next year and how they try to repeat.
Well, yeah, it's tough. I mean, because when you're a championship team, everybody's had a great season. So really, everybody deserves a little bump in the money, but that's not really going to happen. I think that you're obviously looking at that receiving core. You have a lot of guys that contributed that are now going to be free agents. You know, you think of Keyshawn Johnson and Dante Myers. They're both free agents. So are you going to be able to get 1 or 2 of those guys back? I think Sam Emilus and Schaefer-Baker are also free agents. So, I mean, obviously, I think Sam Emilus is your top priority at that position. And then there's going to be some other spots along the line. I think first and foremost, though, Lee, we got to get Trevor Harris to either pee or get off the pot. Like, do you want to come back or don't you? So we can kind of build around you, right? I think he's coming back, too. But I'm just saying, just make it known so that we can get to work and try to build another team around you. Maybe if you want to bring up a pay cut.
Yeah, well, I mean, Trevor,
bring in some more.
After a performance like that, over 80% completion, you got to think Trevor Harris is going to think, if his family's in, let's do another ride. And if he can just keep going a little bit longer until maybe Curtis Rourke is ready to come back from the NFL, the Riders might be set for quarterback for a while. But we'll wait and see. Anyway, great season. This is your first championship X's and O's we did. So congrats to the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, and we'll see you next season on another edition of X's and O's.
X's and O's, brought to you by Campion College at the University of Regina.
There's a house, and it's flying through the sky. I'm off to see The Wizard.
A lot of people are off to see The Wizard this weekend. Box office watchers predict Wicked for Good could debut with $150 million or more. That would soar past the first Wicked film, which opened with $112.5 million this same weekend last year. The follow-up could score the biggest debut of the year. A Minecraft movie opened with $162.8 million back in April.
This isn't the end of the line. Not for you.
Neither is being over 50. One battle after another leads the nominations for this year's Movies for Grown-Ups Awards with AARP. It's up for 8 awards, including Best Movie for Grown-Ups. Also up for the top prize, A House of Dynamite with 3 nominations, Sinners, which also received 3 nods, Train Dreams with 2 nominations, and Hamnet. The Movies for Grown-Ups Awards, honoring the year's best film and TV, celebrating the voices and stories of the 50-plus, takes place January 10th in Beverly Hills and airs on PBS in February. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We are used to seeing rhinestones on cowboys, but not even Glenn Campbell could have imagined rhinestones on a house in Denmark.
Yeah, this all has to do with Christmas, of course. It's part of a multi-month journey for one woman and the hundreds of thousands around the world who are supporting her. Here's ABC's Danny New.
I'm covering my house in rhinestones for Christmas.
Is it considered the holidays yet?
One rhinestone for every follower.
Because one woman in Denmark has been preparing her decorations since September.
Ksenia, how much do you like Christmas?
Oh, very much. Very much.
Ksenia here has been picking up millions of views on social media as she chronicles her mission to cover her home by Christmas in 1 million rhinestones.
This is very gray season in Denmark. Most of the time it's raining, and it's sad season.
It started as an effort to counter what Ksenia calls the gray season in her home country, and at first she began by just trying to glue each rhinestone on one at a time.
I couldn't walk after that. I didn't feel my back, so I thought I have to figure out something.
Well, thanks to comments from her now around 850,000 followers and her background in coding, Ksenia began working on 3D models to synthesize this process.
The model itself, it has small cells of a size of the rhinestone.
However, these days, Ksenia is not totally mass-producing her rhinestone coverage.
Here's your rhinestone, in honor of your dearest brother John, and with a little light for you today.
As she now offers to include custom rhinestones to honor her followers' loved ones or causes.
I have a to-do list. Huge to-do list because I want these stories to be heard.
As of now, Ksenia has put up almost 600,000 rhinestones, and let's get a preview of the finished product. Here's how it appears at night, glistening like a starry sky.
It's not just for me to have rhinestones on the house, it's to shine and make people smile.
Another reason Ksenia says that she stopped putting on the rhinestones one by one is because after her first post, she got 90,000 followers overnight. So be careful what you promise the internet, although Ksenia says that she has no regrets. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Neat, I guess, if that's what you're into.
Sparkly, I like it.
Sparkly dresses the place up. Not like the place in our sidebar. Preparations are underway in Edmonton for a cold and icy palace. Ice Castles, this is a company that builds castles in Canada and the U.S. Edmonton was selected as one of the 5 locations this year. The castle will have a fairy tale theme. If it gets cold enough, the towers on the castle could reach up to 15 meters tall, so it's under construction. Organizers expect to have it done for the public before Christmas, so it's got to get a little colder up in Edmonton.
Oh, that looks neat. Okay, maybe.
I feel like we could pull that off, right? With that couple weeks of minus 50 we usually get.
In February. I don't think we'd have it for the Christmas season, yeah.
But definitely cold enough.
Yeah.
What do you have for us, Jeremy?
Well, we have Madagascar's military leadership. They have announced the discovery of a massive emerald, and it really is massive. It weighs around 300 kilos. That's 661 pounds. They're calling it a national treasure, and officials are promising to handle it with complete transparency, so they may sell it, and if they do, the funds will be used to boost the public treasury.
It's got green on it. It kind of looks like kryptonite.
I'd like to know what it's worth.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, me too.
Always interested. How about planning our lunch?
How about something totally and completely disgusting? Heinz serving up something for her leftover lovers. It's called Heinz Leftover Gravy. They say this is the first ever squeezable bottle of turkey gravy.
Because that's what we've been missing in our lives.
Yeah, it's been created with the day after turkey sandwich in mind. If only it was around for Canadian Thanksgiving, right? If only. Jeremy, you say you're pro leftover gravy.
Oh, man. Well, I don't know if it's real. You don't call it leftovers. You don't put the moist maker label on it like that. It seems like an April Fool's gag, although I would buy this.
It does look like AI vaguely, but if the Kraft Heinz is the source of this, I have to assume it's actually coming, unfortunately. I won't be trying it. Nope.
Enjoy your day.
Some gravy.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.